Sedang proses join, Pak, dari BSI.
Ya, siap.
Kita orang yang motor lagi, iya. Kan bisa di
Pak Dekan, mohon izin, sudah gabung semua informasi Pak Dekan, semua narasumber. Yang dari Turki pun sudah hadir.
Oke, silakan dimulai aja kali ya.
Ya, oke Pak Dekan. Mbak Cindy, dipersilakan untuk memulai Mbak Cindy. Dan mohon kepada Iwan untuk bisa pesertanya di unmute ya. Oke, terima kasih, silakan.
Rules for attendees. First, mute your microphone. To keep background noise to a minimum level, make sure you mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Second, be mindful of background noise. When your microphone is not muted, avoid activities that could create additional noise, such as shuffling papers. Third, position your camera properly. If you choose to use a web camera, be sure it is in a stable position and focused at eye level if possible. Doing so helps create a more direct sense of engagement with other participants. The fourth, limit distractions. You can make it easier to focus on the meeting by turning off notifications, closing or minimizing running apps, and muting your microphone. The fifth, avoid multitasking. You'll retain the discussion better if you refrain from replying to emails or text messages during the meeting. And wait to work on that PowerPoint presentation until the meeting ends. And the last, prepare materials in advance. If you're going to share content during the meeting, make sure you have the files and or links ready to go before the meeting begins. Now, I'm going to start the event. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. A very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the International Seminar of Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Bandar Lampung. This seminar takes digital financial inclusion in COVID-19 pandemic era as the theme, and this event is part of UBL's Disnatalis. Universitas Bandar Lampung, UBL, is the best private university in South Sumatra, consisting of 4 provinces, South Sumatra, Lampung, Bangka Belitung, and Bengkulu, which is located in Bandar Lampung City, Lampung Province. UBL is managed by Lampung Administration Foundation, led by Dr. Andala Rama Putra Barusman, SA MAEC. Universitas Bandar Lampung Indonesia is delighted to welcome all participants from all around the globe. As a start of our opening ceremony, we will sing the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya.
Wait, saya ulang nggak? Technical. Saya share.
Now we move on to the speech segment that is going to be started with an opening speech. Please be invited, Rector of Universitas Bandar Lampung, Professor Dr. Insinyur M. Yusuf S. Barusman, MBA. Represented by Dean of Universitas Bandar Lampung, Professor Dr. Iskandar Ali Alam, SAMM.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi'un. The Excellency Rector of Universitas Bandar Lampung, Professor Dr. M. Yusuf Barusman, MBA, and then Excellency Chair of Lampung Administration Foundation, as well as the Director of Graduate Studies, Dr. Andala Ramaputra Barusman, SAMIT. Today, program is read and buried with 7 respected keynote speakers. The first one is Mr. Habibur Rahman, Chairman of Syariah Indonesia. The second one is Ms. Gina Putri Pertiwi from Kasan Federal University, as PhD student of Economic and Management. The third one is Ms. Yuni Francisca Borustepu from BCA Bandar Lampung branch. The fourth one is Mr. Stanislav Vladimirov Miladinov from Kasan Federal University. The fifth one is Mr. Andoni Borneo Barusman, SA, BSI, MSc from Universitas Bandar Lampung. The sixth one is Mr. Ilker Metehan Medem, a general accounting specialist from Ankara, Turkey. The last one is Ms. Alia Oktasa Piautami from Universitas Bandar Lampung. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today at this wonderful event. As the Dean of Economic Faculty, it is my great honor to welcome you to this virtual international seminar on digital financial inclusion in COVID-19 pandemic era. I believe that this seminar will become a lightning for all of us here. The lecturer and students, specifically in anticipating the solution in dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. Respected keynote speaker, all lecturers, and distinguished participants. And finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, allow me to officially open today international seminar. I hope you all enjoy today knowledge sharing. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Iskandar, for the opening speech. We are pleased to announce our 7 keynote speakers. The first is Habibur Rahman from BSI Indonesia. Our second speaker, Gina Putri Pertiwi from Kazan Federal University, PhD student of Economy and Management. Our third speaker, Yuni Francisca BR Sitepu from Probek CAKCU Bandar Lampung. Our fourth speaker, Stanislav Vladimirov Mladenov from Kazan Federal University. Our fifth speaker, Ilker Metehan Medem from Oblak in Turkey. Our sixth speaker, Alia Oktasa Piautami from Universitas Bandar Lampung. And the last speaker, Andoni Fornio Barusman from Universitas Bandar Lampung. For the next discussion, will be continued by Dr. M.M. Rahman, SAMM, as our moderator. Mr. Rahman, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you to Cindy for the warm introduction and welcoming speech. It is an honor for me to be able to guide on this spectacular event, which held today on 16 September 2021 virtually. And we must accept that we can't see each other in person due to this pandemic COVID-19, which is still continues, and we must comply with health protocols. But obviously, it is the best things to see you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all today. Good afternoon and good day to all participants from Indonesia and others. It's 1 p.m. in here. Gratitude and thanks for the blessing that we received so we can gather here today on virtual connection. And we hope that all of you are in a good health and high spirit so that you can pay close attention and following this event until the end of the session in this event. First of all, I would like to say an honorable mention to Ibu Dr. Anda Haja Sri Haryati Barusman as Chairman of the Board of Lampung Administrative Foundation and Professor Dr. Insinyur M. Yususul Farono Barusman MBA as Rector University of Bandar Lampung and Dr. Andala Ramaputra Barusman SAMHC as the Chairman of the Lampung Administrative Foundation and Director of the University of Bandar Lampung Postgraduate Program. And also to Professor Iskandar Alim Alam, SAMM, as Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Bandar Lampung, that we have already listened to the statement on the opening speech, which is very memorable and useful for us to look at together. Thank you, Professor Iskandar. And also to those who helped this continuity of today's event that I can't mention one by one, lecturer, officials, students, and all the participants who already joined with us in the wonderful event today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time, and I would like to say welcome to you all to our international seminar presented by University of Bandar Lampung with the topic Digital Financial Inclusion in COVID-19 Pandemic Era. This event are of the part from our 15th anniversary of University of Bandar Lampung program with PPKHA and Faculty of Economy and Business University of Bandar Lampung, has been mentioned before. We'll be pleased to invite you all to join us part of learning, sharing, and discuss, and hope you all can following this event with enthusiasm, which is giving us positive contribution on this virtual meeting today. And of course, this event can facilitate our curiosity about the digital financial inclusion. I would like to give a quick overview related to our topic today. The pandemic COVID could be a changer for digital financial services. Low-income household and small firms can benefit greatly from advance in mobile money, fintech services, and online banking. Financial inclusion as a result of digital financial services can also boost economic growth. While the pandemic is set to increase use of these services, it has also posed challenges for the growth of the industry's smaller players and highlighted unequal access to digital infrastructure. Several actions will need to be taken to ensure maximum inclusion going forward. Therefore, on this occasion, we will jointly participate in very important presentation in gaining knowledge about the advanced application digital financial inclusion, which is we're going to discuss together today. And I will remind too, it should be noted too, that on this happy occasion, there are several rules that must be obeyed by all participants in this event, as mentioned before, where all audio devices from all participants will be muted. Or video participant can following by turning on in a polite context, so the continuity to today's event can be carried out properly until it is finished. Okay, I will greet and also check the connection of our amazing speakers today, where each our keynote speakers today, of course, are person who really capable and deeply understand on any aspect related to our topics. Our keynote speaker I mentioned in order to presentation of material for our virtual meeting today, which is our first. We're gonna listen the presentation of the material from Mr. Stanislav Vladimirov Natanov, represent Kazan Federal University in Volga region, Russia. We are so happy. We are so very happy that Mr. Vladimir has connected with us right now. Hello, Mr. Vladimirov. Good morning, good day at your place. It is an honor for you to be with us today, Mr. Vladimir. And our second keynote speaker is Ms. Yuni Francisca Boru Sitopu as a Personal Relationship Officer Bank Central Asia, or as we know as BCA here, branch office in Bandar Lampung, who has joined with us today. Hello, Ms. Yuni. Good afternoon. Glad you have joined with us. And our third keynote speaker is Ms. Jini Putri Pertiwi, represent Kazan Federal University, who have joined with us too right now. Hello, Ms. Jini. Good afternoon. Glad you have joined with us today. And our fourth keynote speaker is Mr. Habibur Rahman, as a manager of Bank Syariah Indonesia, as we know BSI in Lampung region, who has joined with us too right now. Hello, Mr. Habibur Rahman. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Assalamualaikum.
And the fifth keynote speaker today is Mr. Ayker Merdim, representative of Oplock in Turkey, who have connected with us too now. Good morning, good day to you. Glad you can join with us today, sir.
Selamat pagi, datang Turki.
Selamat pagi. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. And our keynote speaker today is Ms. Alia Safia Utami, a student at University of Bandar Lampung, who has connected with us too right now. Good afternoon, Ms. Alia. Okay. And our seventh keynote speaker is Mr. Andoni Fornia Barusman, represent on University of Bandar Lampung, who has connected with us too right now. Good afternoon, Mr. Andoni. Glad you can join with us today.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Emil. Nice to see you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to you all to contribute to constructive and educational questions that can be addressed through the chat column on the Zoom as well as YouTube virtual meeting link, where you can find the address on question is that invitation you've been followed before. The rule for asking question is that it can be done at the time after all the speakers have presented their material. And I will select it and read the chosen participant question, addresses to the speakers, and of course by including your real name and agency you are from. Okay, now we will enter the most awaited session in this event, which is the presentation of the topic regarding on digital financial inclusion from our extraordinary speakers today. Our first keynote speaker on this event is Mr. Stanislav Vladimirovnetnov, which will present the topic about the Russian economy in condition of COVID-19 crisis. Okay, a little introduction about our first speaker today, that Mr. Vladimir followed the education level in Kazan, Volga Region Federal University, Institute of Social and Philosophical Science and Mass Communication, specialty Political Science in 2016 until 2020, and still followed the education level at Kazan, Volga Region Federal University, Institute of International Relations, major in International Relations, 2020 until 2022. And have several work experience, which is a participant in the final conference at the Department of Political Science at KPU. Yeah. The topic of his speech is Euroscepticism as an integral part of the ideology of right-wing political party in modern Europe in 2019. Participant in the and also participate in conference Digital Technologies and Scientific Diplomacy at SMSU in 2020. And have a lot of publication and research activity who contribute a lot on digital technology and political science topics, such as participant in conference Digital Technology and Scientific Diplomacy, and also a participant in final conference of Department Political Science. If the topic is speech, the fate of the CEE countries in the context of globalization in 2018. And many more on his resume related to financial activities that I can't read by one by one. Okay, Mr. Stanislav Vladimirovnetov, without further ado, I think it is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me to attend in this conference. Maybe, first of all, I would like to tell you that I'll speak in Russian. I have my good friend of mine, Refli Setivan, who will translate into Indonesian. I think he is online. Refli, do you hear me?
Okay, Mr. Vladimir will deliver his presentation in Russian languages, as we will give to the his assistants the authority to translate Russian into English, so that we can follow clearly what he's going to say about the related topics today. Is it, Mr. Vladimir?
Yes. Actually, my topic will be about COVID and the effects of COVID in Russian economy. So please give me please just 1 minute.
Okay, I will help you to share the presentation, sir. Okay, we will share the screen. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Can you see the screen right now, Mr. Vladimir?
Yeah, I can see the screen, and
okay.
If you can give me just, we have just I'm now in the city of Weberg. It's not far from the Finnish border, and the internet connection is not so good actually. That's why we had some problems in the beginning. So okay. Right.
Okay, Mr. Vladimir, is there anything we can?
I can't connect to Mr. Setyavan right now. I don't think he hears us. I think he's here online in the.
Stanislav, давай начинай сейчас. Можно?
Окей.
Давай сейчас.
Все тогда. Все, давай. Спасибо тебе большое. Ребята, давайте, всем добрый день. Так получилось то, что у нас лекция как бы будет на русском языке. Рефли, переводишь?
Ya, jadi Mr. Stanislav akan menjelaskan secara jelas menggunakan bahasa Rusia karena di sini slide-nya akan menggunakan bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Rusia juga dan dijelaskan dalam bahasa Rusia. Давай сейчас можно.
Окей.
Так, давайте вот немножко сделаем такой немножко маленький бэкграунд о том, что было подтверждено, что вирус в России распространился в конце 2020 года.
Следующее, можно следующее, Станислав?
Нет, ты переводи.
Потом, это последний, потом. Нормально сейчас.
Все, хорошо. Это было, может, тогда на английском языке реплик лучше, потому что я вообще...
Конечно, Станислав, можно английский, можно русский, как ты хочешь.
Ты когда будешь переводить?
Можно на английский, если ты хочешь, или на русском. Хорошо.
Okay, so I'll try. Sorry for this misunderstanding. We had some misunderstanding about this. I'll try to speak in English. So let's start. The background is that in the end of January past year, the theory is that in the end of January, 2 citizens from China were sick from COVID-19, and they gave positive results. And in Russia, actually, the first wave of COVID-19 started in March of the previous year, and then it became to whole national federal lockdown. On 25th of March, the President Putin declared that from 1st of April, nobody will work, nobody will be able to work or to go to school to study, or to do any activity which is not on a distance. So in this time, actually, Russia had a lot of cases of COVID-19. Not little part of the time, Russia was on the first places about cases of COVID-19. The second wave was actually worse, but the government decided not to do a lot of restrictions about the state. But I would like to speak about macroeconomic cases just in the beginning. Yes, thank you. This is the next slide. Yeah. One of the most popular words in Yandex search application was about the food. Actually, from 30th of March 2019 until 30th of March 2020, about 10 times the popularity of delivery of food increased. Also, about according to this data, the delivery was of foods and of foods actually increased about 50% from the first day of lockdown. And also the no, please stay on the previous slide. Yes, thank you. It was increased about 50% from the first day of the lockdown. As as we see, this was due to the lockdown. So a lot of companies for delivery and related companies increase their income. But also let's speak about the economy, about the federal economy. From the coronavirus, actually, as we know, a lot of countries suffered in the economic sphere, and as well as Russia, of course. But I would like to say that a lot of organizations expected Russia to have more and more effects in the GDP, in the economic sphere, but actually they had lost about 3% compared to US or France. Even France, as I remember, they had about 8% effect in the economy. But how COVID affected on Russia? First of all, in the end of March 2020, the price of the oil Brent was about $20, and on May, Russia and Saudi Arabia and other other oil companies declared that they will, for a while, they will not produce as much as always before. So this affected the prices, and the prices stopped to go down. As a result of this, the export of oil and products from oil from Russia became less on 40% until $72 billion. And also the export of all the materials was lowered up to 20%. And actually this was maybe one of the worst situations for the last 5 years in the country. But also because of the COVID-19 situation, they had also other bad dates. The production of industry was lowered about 33%, and also the population of the country couldn't buy so much as before. So they had about 9% less possibility of buying than before. But if you can turn to the next slide, please. Thank you. The lowering of the law of GDP was actually, as I said, lower than a lot of people and a lot of analysts were expected. The economy was lowering for 3%, but others expect to be like 4 or 5. So the Russian economy also hits another maybe problems about the products that they had also problems with the import, and maybe this was actually one of the worst situations. But can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, this was actually one of the, as I told you before, this is the National Research University. This is the best economic university in Russia. and they give very positive positive marking, very positive opinion about how the Russian government could hold the crisis, the COVID crisis, about economy. Next slide, please. So these were the prices of raw materials, but as we see on March, when the first wave came in Russia, the prices went down, but through time until now, the prices are regulated, and they have still a very good results about this. Next slide, please. Please, can you give the next slide? Okay, so this was the measures from the government. First of all, from the second wave, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, gave to a lot of Russia's federation. They have other subjects of the federation, like republics and others. So President Putin gave permission to every head of a republic or region to get his measures as he wants. So they try to regulate the prices for every social every products which are for the social for the importance for every for the society. They want to the price to not be increased, and actually still they're trying also to regulate this. Actually, the prices increased a little, but not that much. I think that's my opinion is that the Russian government have a big success about this. I think we have more time, so I would like to also tell you about it. Next slide, please. That the banking sector was also show very good stability, but actually we don't have also positive increasement, but we have only stability. Banking sector is also helping about in the sphere of recovery of the economy, and state programs also helped the increase of credits. In March, the credits for corporate sector was increased about 9% compared to the date of the previous year. And actually, also there were not so good data, because a lot of small businesses have bankrupt. But yeah, also about foreign investments, the situation was also stable, because the investments were about 23.3%, and I think a lot of analysts tell us that this is a very, very good result. Next slide, please. Yes, I would like to tell you that in the beginning of this year, Russia started to export wheat. This was an export bird. This was not only Russia for the first time get enough wheat to for the country and also export. My opinion, of course, is that it will be better not to Russia not to export raw materials as the country does, not even about wheat, but about wood and other raw materials. But actually, this is the choice of every government. But the grain exports from the beginning of the current agricultural season to January amount to 34.4 million tons. I think this was a great success of the Russian economy. That means that if we also check about if we see what some experts said, it's in the future one of the main materials, raw materials, will be wheat, and also the sphere of medical production will be very, very important. So let's go to the next slide. Let's check about predictions. According to IMF forecast, the Russian economy will grow by 3% in this year, and by 3.9% in the next year. This is what actually a lot of analysts predict. Also, as I said before, the University of the High School of Economy in Russia also has this forecast, these predictions. But as we see on the picture, this is the Russian economist Mikhail Hazin, who predicted a long time ago about Russian crisis in the 90s. He said that actually in Russia there will be not stable economic situation. But if there will be, it will be only some regions like Republic of Tatarstan and maybe the region of Krasnodar. Why? To understand Russia in economic situation, we should know that Russia is actually this is let's say a lot of regions, a lot of different economic regions in one state. If you see like Moscow on St. Petersburg, these are modern cities. These are modern European cities that they really look like the economy, the economical style of European countries. If we see Republic of Tatarstan, this is industrial region. This is very good industrial region with its capital Kazan. And also we have some agricultural regions. This is also the opinion of Bulgarian scientist Ivo Christov. He says that there are some feudal and agricultural regions like Chechnya or so on. So about from the opinion of Mikhail Hazin, the problems in the Russian economy will start to grow. Can you please go to the next slide? So actually, these are the Russian sources that I use, and so I would like also to add about Mikhail Hazin that he predicts Russian economy to have problems about 8 years, and this will be the problem because of its liberal politics. If we see by the opinion of these scientists, Ivo Christov and Mikhail Khazin, the economy model of Russia is not suitable for society, because society are expecting more social help and social stability. But actually, in my opinion, because I'm a student of international business, I think that I don't read that much, but I think that Russia can stabilize and can hold the economical situation. I think I have more time, or we're out of our 20 minutes, because I try to explain very fast. The materials a lot. The information is a lot. Is very much so. I think I'm ready for your questions, and if you have any questions about the economy of Russia, politics of Russia, I'm ready to answer you with pleasure.
Okay, Mr. Stanislav. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute, there's a technical issue here. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you very much for the very inspiring presentation, Mr. Vladimirov. So we already hear from Mr. Vladimirov that the pandemic COVID-19 shockingly hit Russia, with giving a disturbance on all export sector, and simultaneously can affect the decreasing on Russian GDP, even the right time when the virus spread through the world in 2019. It is also said that there was an increase in lending through the banking sector, which has brought the Russian economy back to the growth through the agriculture sector with its main food ingredients. Okay, after we listen to the presentation, we will invite the participant to write down related question addresses to Mr. Vladimirov through the chat column in the Zoom app below, by including your real name and agency you are from, and which is I will select and read the question addresses to our speakers today due to our limited time in this occasion. Also for information and to remind you to all participants today. For list attendees, and a certificate link can be seen in the chat column, or contact the committee for today event, who has been written in the current international seminar flyer, as I mentioned before. Okay, for notification to all speakers that there is a change in order today's presentation session, where we will prioritize the Mr. Habibur Rahman after this, because he will attend it to another meeting. Okay, so our next keynote speaker is Mr. Habibur Rahman, which is still in the this session will deliver the material. The material by our next speaker, Mr. Habibur Rahman, will be convey his input on this event with the topic he will submit our digital financial inclusion held by Bank Syariah Indonesia. Okay, a little introduction about our next speakers today is Mr. Habibur Rahman, follow the education level in Brawijaya University and get the Magister Management at Institute of Economic Science at STA Indonesia Banking School in Jakarta. Mr. Habibur Rahman is very experienced in field of finance and banking in Indonesia, which is served as Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries in Bali in 2001, and Department Head Pawning Group Bank Mandiri Syariah 2008, and now he served as Area Manager Bank Syariah Indonesia Lampung, and also has a professional certification and have served in related financial and banking organization, which is a Project Management LPPM Jakarta, and organizations such as the General Chairman of Mandiri Syariah Bank Association and Chairman of the Financial Service Industry Communication Forum. and many more on his resume related to financial and banking activities that I can read one by one. Okay, Mr. Habib Rahman, without further ado, please submit the material for this seminar. The floor is yours, Mr. Habib Rahman.
Thank you, Mr. Emil Rahman. Excuse me, let me present in bahasa.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wasahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'du, rabbi shrahli sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Selamat siang dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Tabi pun yang sama-sama kita hormati Profesor Dr. Insinyur M. Yusuf Sulfrano Barusman selaku Rektor Universitas Bandar Lampung, atau dalam hal ini diwakili oleh Profesor Dr. Iskandar Ali Alam, Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis. Dari Yayasan, Ketua Yayasan Bapak Dr. Andala Rama Putra MSc, para narasumber yang hadir di siang hari ini, panelis Mr. Stanislav Vladimir Maladenov and Mrs. Gina Putri Pertiwi from Kazan Federal University, Rusia, Mr. Ilker Metehan Merdov from Opolog Incorporation, Turki, Ibu Yuni Francisca Barusman Sitepu dari BCA KCU Bandar Lampung, teman-teman semua dari seluruh sivitas akademika Fakultas Ekonomi Universitas Bandar Lampung yang insya Allah siang hari ini dalam kondisi ceria, tidak kurang satu apapun, kita dipertemukan dalam Zoom yang sangat luar biasa ini. Izinkan saya untuk men-share materi terkait dengan digital financial inclusion. Layar bisa dilihat Bapak Ibu, digital financial inclusion?
Ya, bisa Pak Habib Rahman,
Oke.
silakan.
Terima kasih. Saya dikasih waktu berapa menit, Mr. Emil?
Ya, 20 menit Pak Habib Rahman.
20 menit, baik. Mohon maaf ya, saya agak nyela karena jam 3 ada agenda yang lain, offline gitu. Jadi saya harus ini. Baik, ada beberapa hal yang ingin kita share, kita diskusikan di siang hari ini. Kalau nanti ada pertanyaan, monggo silahkan. Jadi yang pertama adalah bagaimana Bank Syariah Indonesia ini dan apa beda operasional syariah dan non-syariah. Ini sebagai salah satu media literasi kita antara perbankan dengan teman-teman di akademisi. Terus yang kedua, bagaimana digital banking kami bertransformasi digital banking dari era ke era, terus BSI Mobile milik Bank Syariah Indonesia dan KRIS. Sama-sama kita ketahui sekarang era mode digital. Jadi lebih bingung kalau kita ketinggalan handphone daripada ketika kita ketinggalan dompet gitu ya. Bukan berarti karena takut chatnya dibaca oleh pasangan ya, tapi semua finansial ada di handphone. Ini sedikit profil terkait dengan Bank Syariah Indonesia. Walaupun umur kami baru kurang dari baru 8 bulan jalan ya. Jadi BSI ini adalah penggabungan merger dari Bank Syariah Mandiri, BRI Syariah, dan BNI Syariah yang notabene saham tertingginya dimiliki oleh Bank Mandiri, hampir 51%, BNI hampir 25%, dan BRI hampir 18%. Nah, tiga bank syariah, bank umum syariah ini atas amanah Presiden tanggal 1 Februari 2021 kemarin dilakukan legal merger. Kenapa itu dilakukan? Agar sebagai negara dengan populasi muslim terbesar di dunia, kita mampu memberikan pertama, pelayanan yang lebih bagus kepada masyarakat, terutama masyarakat muslim di Indonesia. Yang kedua, menjadi kebanggaan Indonesia selaku popularitas muslim terbesar di dunia untuk mampu bersaing di kancah perbankan level internasional, jadi pemain global gitu untuk syariah. pemerintah punya cita-cita dan ambisi dalam kurang dari 5 tahun ke depan, BSI ini harus masuk ke peringkat 10 besar bank secara syariah di internasional. Seperti itu. Nah, aset kita saat ini 249 triliun, jadi ada pertumbuhan sekitar 9 triliun di masa pandemi ini, dan setelah pasca merger, sebelumnya di merger di angka 240. Terus jumlah jaringan kita lebih dari 1.300, ada 1.365 dengan ATM, ada ATM bersama, ATM prima, Maps, dan sebagainya, lebih dari 200.000. Nah, beberapa banyak hal yang dicapai prestasi walaupun dalam kondisi 8 bulan di masa pandemi ini. Nah, ini kami share sedikit terkait bagaimana bank umumnya beroperasi dan khususnya bank syariah beroperasi. Nah, bank itu selama ini adalah titipan, ya. Dana adalah titipan dari pihak ketiga, dari nasabah gitu ya. Nasabah apa? Nasabah yang memiliki simpanan. Mulai dari siswa SD, SMP itu ada tabungan pelajar dan sebagainya. Sampai ke teman-teman mahasiswa, terima kasih Bapak Ibu Sivitas Akademika UBL yang telah menggunakan fasilitas Bank Syariah Indonesia dari mulai sebelumnya mungkin di BSM, BNI Syariah, BRI Syariah gitu. Terima kasih telah mempercayakan finansialnya, dananya kepada kami. Dan spesifiknya di syariah adalah ketika dana itu kami putar dengan skema syariah dan hal-hal yang tidak dilarang oleh syariah. Nah, hal-hal yang tidak dilarang oleh syariah itu apa saja? Memang ada istilahnya dalam singkatan maghrib, maisir, gharar, riba gitu kan. Jadi maisir itu adalah perjudian, kita tidak ada pembiayaan untuk kasino, untuk perjudian dan sebagainya, tidak ada juga barang-barang yang gharar yang tidak jelas dan tidak ada juga yang riba. Nah, bagaimana kalau ada pengajuan pembiayaan di pembuatan minuman keras misal? Kami tidak bisa, itu larang. Misal pabrik rokok pun sampai dengan saat ini kami tidak diperkenankan oleh Dewan Penasehat Syariah gitu kan. Jadi memang industri-industri yang halal ataupun yang makruh pun tidak ada yang dibiayain oleh kami. Nah, inilah spesifiknya di operasional. Nah, begitu bank syariah menghasilkan laba, labanya itu 2,5%-nya adalah dibuat untuk dana kebajikan. Jadi banyak hal yang bisa dibuat dari sini, termasuk CSR dan sebagainya. Ada bantuan kepada anak yatim, bencana alam, tempat-tempat peribadahan, sekolahan, itu yang memang sengaja kita sisihkan dari zakat. Di samping juga ada pendapatan-pendapatan lain yang memang kita alokasikan kalau nasabah melakukan transaksi, di ujung transaksinya apakah berinfak. Nah, itu juga masuk situ. Nah, ini hal-hal terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua yang insya Allah syariah bisa membawakan keberkahan dalam arti hidup sesungguhnya. Nah, masuk ke level kedua yaitu terkait dengan digital banking. Mengutip dari ada pedoman panduan penyelenggaraan digital branch untuk bank umum dari OJK yang diterbitkan di 2016, di sini sudah ditegaskan apa sih digital itu. Digital itu ialah layanan perbankan, layanan atau kegiatan perbankan dengan menggunakan sarana elektronik atau digital baik milik bank atau melalui media digital milik calon nasabah atau nasabah bank yang dilakukan secara mandiri. Nah, dan ini di masa pandemi, akselerasinya untuk digital banking itu berbalik. Sebelum 2020, mungkin 2019 sebelum pandemi, itu penggunaan digital banking masih di rata-rata di bawah 40%. Tapi di era pandemi ini sudah 60-70%-nya beralih kepada electronic channel atau digital channel. Nah, transformasi digital banking sendiri di Mandiri di bank secara keseluruhan diawali di sebenarnya 1969. Ada bank di New York yaitu Chemical Bank, itu 2 September meluncing ATM. 2 September 1969 setelah pertama kali ditemukan di 1966 dengan pembaruan dan sebagainya. Masuklah ke Indonesia itu di era tahun 80-an. Kita ingat 80-an itu orang untuk masuk ke bank itu suatu prestis, suatu hal yang wah gitu kan, punya buku tabungan, punya kartu ATM gitu kan. Seiring berjalannya waktu, bukan prestis lagi, tapi karyawan bank yang mengejar nasabah gitu kan. Tahun 90 itu yang di dompetnya banyak kartu, itu yang luar biasa gitu kan, punya prestis tersendiri gitu kan. Tapi di tahun 2015 ke atas justru udah kuno, punya banyak kartu berarti punya banyak tagihan gitu kan, karena seluruh financial inclusion-nya sudah beralih ke gadget. Mulai 95 itu sudah muncul SMS banking gitu. Dari SMS banking mulai ke internet banking. Dari internet banking atau net banking masuk ke mobile banking. Nah, dengan layanan mobile banking ini memudahkan seluruh finansial itu masuk di sana. Nah, ini kita masuk ke apa sih di dalam mobile banking BSI itu ada platform apa saja sih gitu kan, sehingga banyak yang pengguna kami gitu kan. Dibandingkan dengan pertumbuhan bank secara atau lembaga finansial secara offline, yang secara online ini luar biasa. Mulai dari e-commerce, e-wallet, e-commerce dalam waktu kurang dari 5 tahun itu sudah menjaring lebih dari 100 juta pengguna user. Sedangkan bank mobile banking ini nggak lebih dari kami yang dulu ex legacy beroperasi selama sekian puluh tahun, itu hanya customer base kami baru di angka 15 juta. Bayangkan, dengan pengguna mobile banking antara 35 sampai 37% gitu kan. Jadi ini hal yang suatu luar biasa ketika kita masuk ke era digital banking. Nah, ini fitur BSI Mobile, teman-teman semua. Jadi BSI Mobile ini motonya adalah sahabat finansial, sahabat sosial, sahabat spiritual untuk yang muslim. Nah, ketika sahabat finansial, maka di sana ada banyak fitur transaksi yang bisa digunakan. Kalau untuk transfer, untuk cek rekening itu sudah biasa. Untuk bayar-bayar mungkin sudah biasa. Top up e-commerce, top up saldo e-money dan sebagainya itu sudah hal yang biasa juga gitu kan. Nah, ada satu instrumen yang ada ditanam di mobile banking BSI itu adalah fitur emas. Jadi elektronik emas. Kita bisa menabung emas secara otomatis akan dikonversi oleh sistem kami kerjasama dengan PT Antam. Jadi bukan lagi ini istilahnya virtual atau masuk ke dalam bursa saham ya, bukan. Tapi ini barangnya fisik sebenarnya sudah ada di kita, cuman masih belum dicetak di Antam. Jadi kalau nabung emas adalah bagaimana kita menyisihkan pendapatan kita untuk dikonversi langsung ke dalam logam mulia. Ketika nanti kita punya saldo di sana, kita bisa transaksikan. Nah, itu yang menarik. Gitu. Jadi kita bebas untuk nggak punya risiko untuk menyimpan. Sebenarnya semuanya ada di gadget ini. Nah, ini yang berikutnya adalah layanan berbagi. Layanan berbagi bisa saja zakat, infak, sedekah dan sebagainya. Banyak lembaga-lembaga yang dinaungin menggunakan aplikasi ini. Terus ada fitur Islam, jadi memadukan antara kehidupan, keuangan, dan sosial di sini. Masjid terdekat, terus arah kiblat, terus ada tausiah, ada juz amma, itu ada di sini. Ini yang tadi yang menarik adalah tabungan emas. Nah, fitur-fitur ini sebenarnya, ini ketika kita punya BSI Mobile, maka kita bisa bebas untuk membeli emas dengan nilai adalah 1 per mil dari harga emas. Misal harga hari ini agak turun gitu, sekitar 870.000 per gram. Maka dalam per mil kita minimal nabung 8.000, katakanlah 9.000 minimal nabung di situ, sudah bisa dikonversi 1 per mil emas. Nah, itu bisa juga kita hadiahkan, kita transfer kepada rekan atau kepada mungkin calon pasangan, teman-teman mahasiswa kan gitu kan, ini nabung untuk nanti buat mahar gitu kan. Jadi itu bisa. Nah, di sini juga kita bisa melihat saldo kita sudah berapa gram, gitu kan. Saldo kita sudah bisa berapa gram. Ketika kita mau mengambil fisiknya, itu ada kota-kota tertentu memang yang ditunjuk untuk bisa mengambil ke Antam terdekat. Kebetulan di Lampung belum ada, tapi di Palembang bisa kita nanti kita request gitu kan, kita antarkan. Di sana ada terkandung biaya cetak memang, biaya cetak. Jadi kita nabungnya bebas. Harga emas lagi bagus, lagi rendah gitu, kita nabung agak tinggi. Harga emas agak mahal, kita nabungnya sedikit. Itu boleh. Terserah kita, yang ngatur kita sendiri. Bisa kita transferkan, bisa kita tarik tunai. Nah, bisa juga kalau mau di-redeem, dijual di situ juga bisa. Nah, ini hal-hal yang menarik gitu kan. Di sini juga ada gade emas, jadi kayak layanan gosen sebenarnya. Ketika kita pengen ngegadai, kita klik di sini ada cabang yang terdekat, nanti akan ngambil perhiasan atau objek yang digadai. Nah, ini hal-hal ini yang memang belum semuanya memiliki fitur ini untuk emas ini. Nah, karena eranya dulu memang bank itu highly regulated, dalam artian banyak sekali regulasi yang mengikat sehingga perkembangannya agak cukup ketat dalam mengeluarkan produk karena dalam pengawasan OJK dan LPS gitu kan. Nah, dengan digital ini platform itu kalau tidak diantisipasi dengan ekspansi produk dan ekspansi bisnis akan dikalahkan oleh lembaga-lembaga yang notabene-nya tidak dalam pengawasan OJK. Banyak instrumen lending kayak vintage dan sebagainya itu yang kurang bertanggung jawab, yang dikhawatirkan seperti itu. Akhirnya muncullah regulasi dari OJK untuk mengatur semuanya ini. Nah, termasuk buka rekening kita sekarang juga bisa dilakukan secara video call. Jadi onboarding aja cukup di tempat, tidak perlu datang ke bank. Begitu juga tarik tunai, juga ada fitur tarik tunai yang tidak harus menggunakan kartu. Jadi cukup menggunakan mobile banking. Nanti dapat kode itu diinput ke ATM, sehingga kode itu cuman ada durasinya, tidak lebih dari 3 menit, karena habis itu dia hangus. Nah, begitu juga cara aktivasi mobile banking juga cukup mudah. Nah, yang kedua di era transaksi, kenapa sih digital itu adalah tujuannya memudahkan transaksi. Di transaksi kalau tidak diatur itu akan kemana-mana, termasuk juga akan punya banyak kode penanda untuk pembayaran. Yang BCA harus sama pairingnya BCA, yang Mandiri harus pairingnya Mandiri, link aja harus link aja, OVO dengan OVO. Tapi dengan diatur menggunakan quick response kode Indonesian Standard kris dari BI ini, maka cukup satu kode tapi bisa berbagai industri jasa sistem pembayaran. Jadi penyelenggara jasa sistem pembayaran ini punya kode yang sama diatur oleh BI, sehingga tidak perlu merchant atau penjual itu memasang banyak kode sebenarnya. Cukup satu kode aja, misal di situ punyanya link aja, bisa diakses oleh BCA, bisa diakses oleh BCI, BSI, bisa diakses oleh Mandiri. Nah, ini kemudahan untuk transaksi. Nah, hal ini juga memang di era pandemi, dengan hidup sehat, orang jarang lagi mengeluarkan uang dari dompet, karena uang banyak beredar dari tangan ke tangan. Maka dengan kris, itu dengan mudah transaksi itu bisa berpindah tangan, uang itu bisa berpindah tangan. Jadi apa keuntungannya? Murah dan bebas biaya untuk segmen tertentu gitu kan, untuk sosial, untuk keagamaan ini nggak ada biayanya sebenarnya, 0 rupiah gitu kan. Terus untuk membangun kredit profile. Jadi yang UMKM barusan tadi kita webinar juga dengan BI terkait sama UMKM ini akan kelihatan portofolionya ngebangun kredit profile. Jadi sehingga tahu cash in-nya berapa, cash out-nya berapa, itu akan terrecord semua ketika dengan mudahnya mereka mengakses jasa-jasa lalu lintas kris ini. Cepat, mudah, aman, dan murah, dan handal. Transaksi tercatat di bank sehingga lalu lintasnya jelas, dan sekarang sudah jadi kekinian, jadi trending gitu kan, semuanya pakai handphone. Nah, ini adalah biaya-biaya sebenarnya kris itu. Ketika teman-teman mahasiswa punya usaha dan sebagainya, boleh datang ke kami, ada di Kedaton, ada di Raja Basa, untuk dibuatin krisnya. Gitu. Nah, kemudahan-kemudahan ini. Kertas mudah luntur dan sebagainya, sehingga itu tersimpan di dalam mobile banking sebenarnya. Baik dari pengguna, user, maupun dari penjual. Penjual juga ada notifikasinya. Mungkin itu Bapak Ibu sekalian, teman-teman semua, rekan Sivitas Akademika Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Bandar Lampung, dari Bank Syariah Indonesia kami sampaikan. Jadi intinya digitalisasi ini memudahkan kehidupan harusnya, tidak menghambat pergerakan, tapi memudahkan kita untuk mengakses financial inclusion. Demikian dari saya, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the very enlightenment presentation, Mr. Habib Rahman. So we already hear from Mr. Habib Rahman that the COVID pandemic will certainly reduce the level of income and purchases of the general public. So the banking sector in Indonesia provide various channels to obtain the aid funds and other financial transactions. By going through a series of very clean system issued by Bank Syariah Indonesia, then the distribution of public financial fund can be channeled or transacted safely and easily. So with that system, we will certainly provide a positive boost to the economy, especially on Indonesian economy. Okay, after we listen to the presentation, we invite to the participant to write down related question addressed to Mr. Habib Rahman through the chat column in the Zoom app below, by including the real name, agency you are from, and which is I will select it and read the question addressed to our speakers today due to our limited time in this occasion. And one thing is, there is a good news for our participant too in today's event, that Bank BCA will give a quiz with the prize, where the session will be handed over to Bank BCA at the end of our season today. Okay, and now we going to our next keynote speakers for today's seminars. Our next keynote speakers today is Miss Yuni Francisca Borusitopu. Yeah. This keynote speaker is Miss Yuni Francisca Borusitopu, as a personal relationship officer in Bank Central Asia, with the topic about bijak kelola keuangan, in English, are wisely manage the finance. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will read the resume about as an introduction to our third speaker today. Ms. Yuni followed the education level in Lampung University on Faculty of Agriculture, majoring in agribusiness, and have work experience as finance officer with specialization on accounting and financial on Carry Express Indonesia, which is companies engaged in logistics in 2018. And also has served at Sekar Bumi Tbk Limited Companies, which is engaged in frozen food in 2017. Of course, our keynote speaker, Ms. Yuni, are a resourceable person who are very knowledgeable about financial condition. The topic that will be delivered is very related to our topic today regarding digital financial inclusion in pandemic era, and how we can manage our finance according to what will be conveyed by Ms. Yuni. Okay, Ms. Yuni, look like you're ready to deliver your material.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay, please, Ms. Yuni, to take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Emil. Saya coba speak pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, buat Bapak Ibu semuanya. Selamat siang, saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Profesor Dr. Insinyur M. Yusuf S. Barusman, yang diwakili oleh Profesor Dr. Iskandar Ali Alam, Selanjutnya saya ucapkan selamat siang Bapak Andoni Vario Barusman, dan selamat siang kepada Mr. Fadi Mirov dari Kazan Federal University, Mr. Ilker Metehan dari Turki, kepada Ibu Gina Putri Pertiwi, Ibu Alia Oktasavia Utami, Bapak Habibur Rahman, Dr. Mr. Emil, dan buat all panelists dan partisipan, selamat siang dan terima kasih atas kesempatan yang diberikan pada BCA untuk berbagi sharing ya Bapak Ibu ya. Ini bukan untuk presentasi atau mengajar, mungkin karena kalau mengajar lebih berkuasa Bapak Ibu dosen di sini ya. Jadi saya berbagi sharing aja buat Bapak ya teman-teman di sini, para mahasiswa mahasiswi UBL. Baik, saya boleh share screen. Bisa terlihat jelas ya, Bapak Ibu teman-teman semua?
Ya, bisa di sini.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Emil. Bijak, kali ini saya membawakan sharing mengenai bijak kelola keuangan. Baik, sebelum memulai presentasi saya ataupun sharing saya, mungkin saya minta salah satu volunteer ya, mungkin karena siang hari habis makan siang, mungkin ada yang mengantuk gitu ya, buat teman-teman dari mahasiswa-mahasiswi UBL, kira-kira apa sih makna dari sukses teman-teman? Boleh open mic-nya, kira-kira makna sukses itu seperti apa? Yang saya tahu mahasiswa-mahasiswa UBL ini orangnya aktif-aktif banget nih ya. Jadi boleh salah satu dari mahasiswa-mahasiswa UBL makna dari sukses itu apa, teman-teman? Gimana dari teman-teman dari mahasiswa-mahasiswa UBL, makna dari sukses itu apa nih kira-kira? Atau sampai saat ini sukses yang didapat itu apa sih, bentuk apa gitu kira-kira teman-teman? Ada volunteer yang mau?
Oke, saya sudah
Oh
membuka.
boleh, Pak Emil. Menurut Pak Emil kira-kira?
No. Maksud saya sudah membuka seluruh mic untuk para partisipan untuk bisa merespon Anda, Miss ini.
Iya boleh, Pak Emil.
Saya.
Oke, Angelina Putri. Sukses itu gimana, Angel?
Sukses itu kalau menurut saya ketika kita sudah bisa mencapai keinginan yang kita mau. Misalkan apa terus kita bisa mendapatkannya, itu bagi sebuah kesuksesan tersendiri.
Iya, mantap, benar banget Angelina Putri, terima kasih. Sukses itu adalah ketika kita bisa mencapai sesuatu ataupun keinginan kita. Benar banget ya Angel ya. Nah, keinginan kita apa? Keinginan itu banyak banget teman-teman. Mungkin teman-teman yang lain ada yang ingin punya rumah, ada yang ingin punya mobil, ada yang ingin jalan-jalan ke luar negeri, mungkin ada yang ingin menikah, punya anak. Ketika dia mencapai impian ataupun goalnya, itulah disebut dengan makna sukses teman-teman. Dan teman-teman juga mungkin ada yang mahasiswa-mahasiswa UBL yang sebelumnya mungkin dari SMA mana gitu ya, dan keterima di Universitas Bandar Lampung, itu juga termasuk sukses teman-teman ya. Nah itu disebut dengan makna sukses. Saya berbicara dengan siklus kehidupan keuangan teman-teman. Jadi untuk siklus kehidupan keuangan ini, itu bisa lihat dari umur dan penghasilan yang diharapkan. Dari umur dari 0 sampai 20 tahun, itu adalah masa anak-anak sampai dengan 20 sampai 25 adalah masa lajang. Di mana dari 25 tahun sampai dengan usia 55 tahun, itu kita diharapkan adalah tahap mengumpulkan kekayaan dan tahap menggandakan kekayaan. Dan di usia 55 tahun, itu biasanya adalah tahap mendistribusikan kekayaan ataupun masa pensiun teman-teman. Nah, jenis penghasilan itu dari mana aja sih gitu ya? Jenis penghasilan itu macam-macam. Ada dari uang saku gitu ya. Kayak sekarang mungkin mahasiswa-mahasiswi yang ada itu dapat saku dari orang tua gitu. Itu termasuk penghasilan teman-teman. Nah, untuk karyawan dari mana? Dari gaji. Untuk pengusaha dari mana? Dari hasil usahanya. Dan ada juga nih mungkin nggak kerja ya ataupun mungkin dia nggak usaha tapi dia punya investasi. Nah, hasil investasi ini itu harus ada penghasilan lebih besar daripada pengeluaran, itulah disebut dengan investasi. Nah, ini disebut dengan masa berkarir dan berkeluarga ya teman-teman. Ada siklusnya di sini, ya. Masa pendidikan itu di usia 20 sampai dengan usia 22 tahun. Dan masa berkarir dan berkeluarga sampai dengan usia 38 tahun. Tapi ketika sudah memasuki masa usia 55 sampai 60 tahun, itu adalah masa pensiun, teman-teman. Jadi, contoh nih kayak para mahasiswa mungkin nggak kepikiran, oh kira-kira nanti saya masih usia 20 sampai 24, kira-kira masih dalam masa pendidikan gitu ya. Tapi teman-teman harus bisa planning kan dari sekarang, kira-kira nih masa berkarir saya seperti apa yang harus saya siapkan dari sekarang, masa pensiun saya seperti apa, gitu ya. Nah, itu awal pertama kali yang harus kita lakukan adalah atur pengeluaran, teman-teman. Kenapa atur pengeluaran? Karena kita harus mengatur kira-kira pemasukan yang kita dapat dari tadi uang saku, dari gaji, dari usaha ataupun investasi, itu harus kita atur pengeluarannya. Nah, kemana aja sih? Nah, ini kita coba rangkum. 50% itu adalah dialokasikan ke need ataupun kebutuhan pokok yang harus dipenuhi. Contohnya dari sandang, pangan, dan papan. Karena itu wajib ya teman-teman ya, Bapak Ibu, itu wajib banget untuk dipenuhi. Selanjutnya apa? Itu adalah kebutuhan tidak mendesak, tapi harus dipenuhi. Itu adalah want. Contoh nih, mungkin kita butuh baju baru gitu ya. Sekarang nggak terlalu penting, tapi 2 atau 3 bulan ke depan kita butuh nih pengganti baju gitu ya. Nah, atau buku gitu. Nah, itu harus kita alokasikan sebesar 15%. Nah, selanjutnya apa lagi nih? Selanjutnya adalah saving, simpanan yang dapat digunakan sewaktu-waktu. Itu sebesar 15%, teman-teman. Kenapa? Contoh nih, kayak kondisi sekarang adalah COVID ya. COVID kita nggak tahu kapan kita flu, kapan kita batuk, kapan kita harus ke rumah sakit. Kita harus punya saving sebanyak 15% dari hasil usaha ataupun tabungan kita. Jadi kita bagi nih awal dari 50% untuk kebutuhan pokok, ada 15% untuk uang kita atau kebutuhan yang tidak mendesak kita, ada saving sebanyak 15% yang sewaktu-waktu dapat digunakan. Nah, apa yang harus dikurangin? Yaitu adalah hutang. Uang yang dipinjam yang harus dikembalikan di tabungannya, itu yang disebut dengan hutang, teman-teman. Jadi sebisa mungkin hutang itu dikurangin. Kenapa? Karena jika hutang dikurangin, investment kita akan naik sebesar 20%. Karena ini yang dipentingkan untuk mencapai atau goal atau impian kita, untuk mencapainya itu harus ada investment sebanyak 20%. Kita bandingkan dengan satu lagi pengeluaran kita. Jika kita nih, hutang kita naikkan sebesar 30%, ya, 30%. Uang yang harus kita balikan dan harus kita kembalikan beserta bunganya sebesar 30%. Apa yang berkurang, teman-teman? Yang berkurang adalah yang pertama, kebutuhan kita yang tidak mendesak tetapi harus dipenuhi sebesar 10%, berkurang 5%. Ya, jadi tadi mungkin kita butuh untuk beli baju, harusnya nih bajunya kita bisa beli 3 atau 4 baju untuk beberapa bulan ke depan, harus dikurangi 2 sampai 1 baju. Nah, saving, simpanan yang dapat digunakan sewaktu-waktu, teman-teman, yang tadi harusnya 15% nih savingnya, ternyata hanya 10%. Jadi berkurang 5%, ya. Jadi yang harusnya nih kita tadi bisa buat simpen ketika nanti kita butuh waktu pada waktu yang darurat gitu. Nah, ternyata kita nggak bisa saving, cuma savingnya 10%. Dan yang paling krusial sekali adalah mengurangi investment. Kita sama sekali nggak ada tabungan nih, teman-teman, kalau kita hutangnya diperbanyak. Tapi memang kita wajib harus ada juga namanya hutang gitu ya. Boleh punya hutang, tapi tidak lebih dari 30%. Karena jika lebih dari 30% itu akan mengurangi investment kita, uang kita, dan saving kita. Nah, sekarang banyak banget fintech ya, Bapak Ibu, dan teman-teman semua, banyak banget fintech yang mungkin menggoda kita ya. Contohnya dari payment gateway dengan ShopeePay gitu ya. ShopeePay kayak kemarin nih, ada tanggal 99 gitu ya, semua pada belanja, semua masukin keranjang gitu ya. Walaupun belum bayar, nanti dulu deh, yang penting aku masukin dulu. Itu adalah salah satu cara untuk kita, oh ya, menggunakan fintech tapi berlebihan gitu ya. Ada yang namanya market investment. Yang paling parah, yang paling krusial adalah pinjaman online, Bapak Ibu teman-teman semuanya. Kenapa? Karena pinjaman online ini kayaknya banyak banget. Oh yaudah, gampang banget nih. Bisa dengan KTP, ya KTP, terus dengan data diri gitu. Mudah sekali untuk akses pinjaman online. Tetapi kadang kita nggak tahu nih, ternyata pinjaman online ini itu adalah bunganya harian, teman-teman. Bunganya dihitung harian. Dan banyak sekali nih teman-teman kita yang terjebak dalam pinjaman online. Jadi dengan adanya fintech ini kita juga harus hati-hati, kita harus pilih-pilih dulu yang mana fintech yang bagus untuk kita berinvestment, mana fintech yang hanya mengeluarkan investasi kita tadi, gitu ya. Bagaimana tips kelola pendapatan? Yang pertama, yang saya bilangkan tadi, utang segera lunasi dan pastikan tidak lebih dari 30% total pendapatan dari hutang kita. Jadi jika lebih dari 30% akan mengurangi namanya investasi kita. Yang kedua apa? Kita harus punya dana darurat dengan cara disiplin menabung untuk kebutuhan mendesak kita. Karena jika kita tidak ada tabungan untuk dana darurat kita atau saving kita, Ketika kita butuh mendesak, itu tidak ada sama sekali tabungannya. Selanjutnya kita juga perlu nih yang namanya sosial dan spiritual. Contohnya kayak seorang muslim, kita harus berzakat, infak, sedekah dari hasil ataupun investasi yang kita punya. Apalagi yang dibutuhkan untuk kelola pendapatan kita, yaitu proteksi, Bapak Ibu teman-teman semua. Kenapa proteksi? Karena contoh nih, kita punya investasi, kita punya tabungan, kalau tidak terproteksi, contoh aja kita punya rumah. Kalau tidak ada namanya proteksi, yang asuransi kebakaran, ketika terjadi apapun dalam rumah itu, pasti nih hartanya habis. Makanya kita butuh juga namanya proteksi, pertanggungan diri, dan keluarga. Selanjutnya apa? Investasi. Seperti kayak tadi Angelina bilang, ketika kita ingin mencapai suatu sukses, kita harus punya goal, punya impian, jadi kita punya investasi. Nah, dari semua itu juga tidak memungkiri nih, dan kita juga harus mengkonsumsi. Konsumsinya apa? Hadiah kerja keras untuk diri kita sendiri. Contoh nih, kita sudah capek semua nih, kita sudah punya hutang tidak boleh lebih dari 30%, kita sudah punya disiplin menabung, kita berbagi zakat, infak, dan sedekah, kita punya proteksi, investasi. Tapi kita juga harus sadar kalau hadiah kerja keras kita untuk diri kita sendiri itu kita juga butuh. Contohnya kita hobi apa? Hobinya musik. Oke, kita dengar musik, kita mungkin beli kaset yang kita suka gitu ya. Oh, sukanya nonton, boleh. Nonton juga oke, atau mayoritas dong liburan untuk hadiah kerja keras kita sendiri. Jadi itu apresiasi untuk diri kita karena kita sudah bisa mengelola pendapatan kita. Nah, untuk mencapai kesuksesan itu tentukan dulu tujuan yang kita ingin capai. Yang pertama adalah pensiun, pendidikan, aset baru, dan liburan. Nah, tentukan tujuan ini tidak harus baik gini. Oh ya, sekarang posisi saya sebagai mahasiswi. Saya mau tunjukkan tujuan atau goal saya itu sebagai pensiun. Boleh, tapi saran saya teman-teman, cobalah buat tujuan atau goal itu dari jangka pendek, menengah, sampai dengan panjang. Contoh, sekarang rekan-rekan mahasiswa, mahasiswi, UBL, yang pertama kali jangka waktu mendekat, oh ya, kira-kira nih saya nanti mau IPK-nya sekian. Oh, kira-kira nih saya nanti mau lulusnya tahun sekian. Nah, itu sudah mulai ditentukan goal ataupun tujuan hidup kita, gitu ya. Yang kedua, nanti setelah nih saya lulus dari kuliah, saya mau kerja di mana? Saya mau kerja di mana? Oh, saya mau kerja, contoh di BCA, boleh gitu ya. Oh, saya sudah punya goal, saya mau kerja di BCA, saya mau kerja sebagai dosen di UBL gitu ya. Atau namanya, oh setelah saya bekerja, saya harus punya namanya rumah, apartemen, ataupun kendaraan. Mulai di set, oh tahun umur sekian saya sudah punya namanya aset baru. Selanjutnya apa? Oh, ketika saya sudah punya aset baru, oh saya harus punya keluarga. Saya punya keluarga, saya bisa liburan, baru setelah itu di umur 55 itu saya pensiun. Jadi buat mahasiswa dan mahasiswi, teman-teman semuanya boleh ditentukan goal ataupun tujuan itu dari sekarang. Ya. Diversifikasi aset. Nah, ada pepatah bilang jangan taruh telur itu dalam satu keranjang, teman-teman. Benar sekali. Contoh, kayak kita zaman dulu itu kita kalau nabung itu di mana? Di celengan ayam ya. Ada yang di celengan ayam. Kalau kemarin saya sempat presentasi di SMA 10 gitu ya. Infonya, oh ya kalau saya nabung saya taruhnya di celengan ayam kayak unik gitu. Ada yang bilang, oh ya enggak, saya taruhnya di bawah tempat tidur gitu ya. Nah, itu memang zaman dulu seperti itu. Nah, ini diversifikasi aset. Kalau zaman sekarang, teman-teman, kita banyak banget tempat alokasi asetnya. Nah, contohnya nih, kita taruh di bond, ditaruhnya di obligasi, kita taruh di saham, kita taruh di investasi dalam bentuk tanah atau rumah. Kita boleh simpan juga dalam bentuk tabungan, ataupun kita boleh simpan di bursa, atau investment ataupun instrumen-instrumen yang lain. Banyak banget alokasi aset yang dapat kita terapkan. Kenapa nggak seperti contoh nih, kalau kita taruh dan kita punya penghasilan, kita taruh di dalam cash, dalam bentuk uang tunai aja teman-teman. Itu kurang berkembang. Kita taruh banyak kayak, oh saya taruh di tabungan aja. Oh harusnya di tabungan ini kita bisa olah lagi. Oh ya kita tempatin di obligasi, kita tempatin di saham, kita tempatin lagi umpamanya kita main kurs gitu ya. Nah itu banyak banget untuk aset alokasinya. Nah, sebelum kita mengetahui di mana sih kita nempatin aset alokasi ini, kita harus pahami dulu nih resiko yang kita dari diri kita sendiri sehingga kita dapat menempatkan alokasi aset kita. Tipe kita ini seperti apa? Jadi ada 4 resiko ataupun 4 tipe resiko yang ada dalam diri kita, teman-teman. Yang pertama itu adalah sangat konservatif, moderat, dan agresif. Nanti boleh teman-teman sambil saya kasih bocoran sedikit, mungkin ada pertanyaan di sini nanti ya dibocorkan oleh Fani gitu ya. Nah, Sangat konservatif itu apa? Sangat konservatif itu tidak bisa mentoleransi resiko. Ya, jadi harus tahu dulu nih diri kita ini sebenarnya tipe resikonya apa sih gitu ya. Tidak bisa mentoleransi risiko. Sama sekali nih, saya nggak mau deh ada risiko. Jadi kalau kita tidak berani beresiko, jangan bermain di saham. Bermainlah di deposito ataupun reksadana pasar uang. Itu adalah produk yang baik ketika teman-teman mau berinvestasi. Nah, selanjutnya ada konservatif. Konservatif itu berani beresiko tapi minim ya teman-teman. Oh, apa deh saya coba aja, mana tahu nanti menguntungkan gitu ya. Tapi saya juga ingin itu investasinya stabil gitu. Nah, kita bermain di mana? Kita bermain berinvestasinya itu di reksadana pendapatan tetap, obligasi, reksadana pasar uang ataupun deposito. Itu kita boleh terapkan di situ. Nah, ada juga nih yang moderate ya. Moderate itu, oh saya berani nih mulai beresiko, mungkin sekitar 50%, oke lah kayaknya kalau penurunan harganya. Nah, itu kita bermain di mana? Itu kita bisa investasikan dana kita itu di reksadana campuran, reksadana pendapatan tetap, obligasi, reksadana pasar uang, dan deposito. Nah, ketika kita menilai diri kita berani beresiko. Masalah deh ketika saya masukin investasi saya, dana saya di dalam suatu saham ataupun di dalam obligasi gitu, yang resikonya tinggi. Nggak masalah, yang penting dia dapat return yang tinggi juga gitu. Jadi high return dan high risk juga gitu, nggak masalah. Berarti kita bisa menempatkan dana yang kita punya atau penghasilan yang kita punya di reksadana saham, reksadana pendapatan tetap, obligasi, reksadana pasar uang, dan deposito. Ya, jadi semua ini ketika kita sudah punya di agregat, sebenarnya kita bisa menempatkan dimanapun investasi kita, gitu ya. Terus untuk produk investasi apa sih yang di BCA gitu? Kayaknya mungkin banyak teman-teman yang berpikir, oh ya biasanya di bank itu cuma ada tabungan gitu ya. Cuma ada kayak bentuk, kalau orang bilang terkenal itu tahapan BCA gitu ya. Sebenarnya instrumen banyak banget teman-teman. Untuk produk investasi di BCA itu ada namanya obligasi. Obligasi itu apa sih? Obligasi itu adalah pernyataan hutang dari penerbit obligasi kepada pemegang obligasi beserta janji untuk membayar kembali pokok hutang beserta kupon pada saat tanggal jatuh tempo pembayaran. Jadi biasanya obligasi itu pemerintah. Kayak kemarin kita namanya ada SR 015. Jadi pemerintah memberikan hutang kepada masyarakat. Jadi masyarakat, oh kira-kira nih pemerintah berikan hutang, masyarakat beli surat obligasinya. Setiap tanggal 10 atau tanggal 15, pemerintah bayarkan bunganya ke masyarakat. Nah, obligasi ini digunakan apa oleh pemerintah? Nah, itu untuk tol, untuk bangun sekolah. Nah, itu yang digunakan oleh pemerintah. Jadi obligasi ini sangat aman ya teman-teman. Jadi manfaatnya itu karena dijamin oleh undang-undang, mendapatkan capital gain ataupun keuntungan, kupon yang dibayarkan pada periode tertentu, biasanya tanggal 10 ataupun tanggal 15, itu mendapatkan bunga ataupun kupon kepada masyarakat. Terus mendukung pembangunan nasional yang saya bilang tadi ya, pembangunan tol, pembangunan sekolah gitu ya. Nah, resikonya apa untuk obligasi? Resikonya itu adalah resiko gagal bayar, resiko pasar, resiko likuiditas. Mungkin teman-teman kata gini, aduh pada resiko gagal bayar gitu ya. Sebenarnya resiko gagal bayar ini itu terjadi apabila negara kita ini benar-benar bangkrut, teman-teman. Nah, sebagai informasinya, negara kita ini benar-benar bangkrut, benar-benar jatuh gitu ya. Hal yang pertama yang harus dibayarkan pemerintah itu adalah bukan tabungan, teman-teman, tapi adalah obligasi. Jadi, obligasi ini sangat aman karena dijamin oleh undang-undang. Yang kedua, apa sih yang dijual di BCA gitu, produk investasi selain obligasi, itu adalah reksadana. Reksadana ini adalah wadah pengelolaan dana ataupun modal bagi sekumpulan investor untuk berinvestasi dalam instrumen-instrumen yang tersedia di pasar modal dengan cara membeli unit penyertaan. Jadi kalau untuk reksadana ini kita beli kayak tadi ada 5 reksadana ya. Ada yang pendapatan tetap, ada pasar uang, ada yang campuran, ada yang terproteksi, ada yang saham. Nah, reksadana ini adalah per lembar reksadana. Kayak kita beli per lembar nih ya. Oh, saya mau beli lembar reksadana, saya kayak mau tahu ya. Baik contoh nih perusahaan BCA gitu ya. Saya mau beli nih sahamnya BCA. Per lembarnya berapa? Nah, itu bisa juga dalam reksadana. Ya, manfaatnya apa? Pengelolaan yang profesional karena dikelola oleh manajemen investasi, diversifikasi investasi, nah likuiditas dan transparansi karena nanti bakal ada rekening korannya setiap bulan. Nah, potensi pertumbuhan nilai investasi terjangkau dan bukan objek pajak. Ya. Karena kenapa memang terjangkau? Kayak tadi obligasi itu minimal 1 juta penempatannya. Nah, untuk reksadana itu minimal 100.000. Ya mungkin kalau bisa dibilang uang jajan mahasiswa dari UBL paling lebih kali dalam seminggu gitu 100.000 gitu ya teman-teman. Nanti boleh dibagi dari tadi hak pengeluaran dibagi ke masing-masing untuk investasi. Salah satunya bisa dari reksadana, karena reksadana itu minimal penempatannya bisa Rp100.000. Nah ini tadi yang saya sampaikan. Reksadana itu ada macam-macam, ada reksadana pasar uang, ada reksadana terproteksi, ada reksadana pendapat tetap, ada reksadana campuran, ada reksadana saham. Dan manajemen investasi ini siapa sih gitu ya? Ada PT Asmor, ada PT Batavia, PT Spring, ada PT BNP Paribas, dan PT Schroeder. Nah teman-teman juga bisa cek mulai di googling nih, kayak mahasiswa-mahasiswa saya kan sudah aktif banget ya, bisa cek di googling. Kira-kira ini PT ini dia nempatin dananya di mana aja. Contoh kayak Schroeder, dia nempatinnya di saham-saham PT apa aja. Dan biasanya jika ada nih reksadana dikelola oleh manajer investasi, itu biasanya dengan saham-saham yang blue chip, perusahaan-perusahaan yang oke. Ya teman-teman, jadi lebih aman untuk berinvestasi juga di reksadana. Nah, kalau untuk di BCA, mungkin teman-teman gini, sekarang di dunia era digital ya teman-teman ya, apalagi di era pandemi sekarang gitu ya, harus ke bank, harus ngantri, dan banyak bilang nih, dulu biasanya itu judulnya itu bank capek antri gitu ya teman-teman ya. Kalau sekarang itu enggak. Sekarang itu kayaknya karena di dunia era digital kita juga fintechnya sudah oke. Nah bagi teman-teman nih kira-kira nanti saya mau tahu mengenai investasi di BCA itu seperti apa. Itu bisa download namanya Welma. Jadi kita menghadirkan aplikasi yang namanya Welma. Kita bisa tahu nih informasi mengenai reksadana. Reksadana itu apa aja yang bisa ditawarkan di BCA. Yang kedua apa? Obligasi yang ditawarkan pemerintah. Itu dalam bentuknya apa aja? Ada FR, ada SR, mungkin kayak di bagian ekonomi, ya ini bagian jurusan ekonomi mungkin udah paham ya mengenai FR, SR, ORI gitu ya. Nah itu semua tertera di obligasinya seperti apa. Itu juga bisa dipelajari di Welma. Gitu ya. Ini detailnya juga bisa dicek di www.bca.co.id. Nah, gimana susah nggak sih kalau transaksi di Welma gitu ya? Mudah banget teman-teman Bapak Ibu semua. Kalau untuk di Welma, kita juga cuma download dan install aplikasi di Welma aja. Terus kita registrasi dapat BCA ID. Setelah itu nanti kita dapat namanya ID. ID itu yang akan kita konekin ke rekening kita. Jadi kita nggak harus ke bank. Karena kalau zaman sekarang memang kayak dalam COVID gitu ya. Nah, COVID juga kayaknya kita nggak akan mau ke kumpulan orang-orang ataupun rame gitu, ke bank harus antri gitu. Nah, ini angka mudah untuk menggunakan Welma. Jadi bisa download aplikasi Welma di Play Store gitu. Selain itu apalagi sih Mbak Yuni kira-kira nih kalau umpamanya kita mau investasi di BCA, selain itu kira-kira yang memudahkan fasilitas di BCA itu apa lagi? Nah, kita bisa menggunakan BCA Mobile, teman-teman. Jadi, ketika BCA Mobile di BCA ini adalah aplikasi pada smartphone yang dapat digunakan untuk bertransaksi perbankan. Nah, di BCA sendiri, itu BCA Mobile itu sama praktis dan dapat digunakan. Kita juga bisa aktivasi kartu kredit di situ, aktivasi PIN kartu kredit. Nah, ketika nih ATM kita keblokir gitu ya, kita juga bisa nih ngeblokir, kayak hilang nih ATM-nya ataupun kartu kreditnya. Kita bisa blokir di BCA Mobile kita. Nah, dengan adanya BCA Mobile, kita juga bisa tarik tunai tanpa kartu ATM. Jadi kita tarik tunai, cuma langsung kode akses, nanti kita transfer cashless. Karena memang kedepannya kita juga tidak akan menggunakan kartu ATM ya rencananya gitu. Dan selanjutnya apa? Kita juga bisa buka rekening online. Jadi buat teman-teman nanti nih, supaya bisa investasi tadi sedikit demi sedikit nabung, supaya tidak nabungnya di celengan ayam lagi gitu ya, ataupun di bawah tempat tidur gitu ya. Coba mulai buka rekening secara online. Setelah buka rekening secara online, bukalah coba aplikasi-aplikasi yang info adanya mengenai informasi mengenai investasi, reksadana, ataupun obligasi. Seperti kata pepatah teman-teman, jadi seperti ini. Untuk kita menabung ataupun investasi, dana ataupun penghasilan yang kita punya, itu bukan disisakan, tapi disisihkan. Kenapa? Karena kalau disisakan, contoh kita punya dana 100.000 rupiah. Kita sisakan itu, mamanya dia, kita berarti gunain dulu nih buat, saya mau beli makan, saya mau beli baju, saya mau beli sesuatu hal yang mau, saya mau beli snack. Sisanya baru kita tabung. Tapi harus kita balik ini. Kita harus menyisihkannya dulu. Jadi yang 100.000 yang kita ada tadi, saya sisihkan dulu 20.000 untuk saya tabung. Sisanya boleh kita gunakan untuk kebutuhan pokok lainnya ataupun kebutuhan yang kita mau. Baik, demikianlah presentasi aku sharing yang dari saya sampaikan. Jika nanti ada pertanyaan, boleh di Q&A-nya. Seperti tadi Mr. Emil info ya, kita akan ada door prize sedikit buat teman-teman. Jadi nanti kita akan ada, kita akan ada pertanyaan di chat gitu. Nanti teman-teman boleh jawab di chat. Nanti ada hadiah menarik yaitu tabungan dari BCA dan token yang menarik. Saya kembalikan ke Mr. Emil. Terima kasih.
Baik. Thank you very much, Ms. Yuni, for the very interesting and so inspiring presentation by Ms. Yuni Francisca Borositepu. So we already hear from Mrs. Yuni Francisca Borositepu related like what she said earlier, how we wisely to manage finance to get the capital in doing business such as micro and small medium enterprises or MSMEs or other micro businesses. The banking sector, which is Bank Central Asia, has provided a very easy path to get it, right? By regulating financial transactions so that account payable can be controlled without placing a heavy burden on bank customers. So that the small to medium economy as a global, in this aspect can continue to move in and succeed onto the cross in pandemic COVID even though. Okay, after we listen to the presentation, we invite the participant to write down related questions addressed to Ms. Yuni Francisca Borositepu through the chat column in this app below. For the list attendees and certificate link can be seen in the chat column and can contact the committee for today event who has been written on the current international minute flyer as I mentioned before. And now we will continue. Our next presentation is by Ms. Jini Putri Pertiwi. Ms. Jini Putri Pertiwi represents Kazan Federal University, which will be convey her input on this event with the topic are digital financial inclusion in pandemic era in Russian Federation. Okay, Ms. Jini followed the education level in Kazan Federal University, majoring economy and management with preliminary qualification as PhD candidate, and have several work experience, which is in 2004, she take the position at Wilmar Group, which is eligible in agribusiness and manufacture industry, and held the position at Rusli Feminian Sakti and Vipar Multivision Plus. Sekar Bumi, and last in 2019 in Carrier Express Indonesia as a finance officer, and have a lot of publication and research activities who contribute a lot in digital technologies and political science topics such as political parties and political development in the Republic of Tatarstan, Russia, and sit as a member of Indonesian Student Association of Russia and a member of Islamic Economic Society in Russia. Also, she get a couple award and achievement as the best employee of finance department and awarded Russian government scholarship for 2009 until 2024. Okay, without further ado, looks like Ms. Jini is ready to deliver her presentation. Okay, Ms. Jini. Yeah, okay, we can hear you, Ms. Jini. Okay, the floor is yours, Ms. Jini.
Mohon maaf sebelumnya, karena saya juga satu lokasi asrama dengan tadi Stanislav, kami sedang mengalami gangguan sinyal, jadi agak kurang stabil. Gitu. Boleh dibantu nanti di share screen materi presentasinya?
Oke, baik.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang menjelang sore waktu Indonesia. Perkenalkan, nama saya Gina Putri Pertiwi. Saya mahasiswa asal Indonesia yang sedang melanjutkan studi di Kazan Federal University. Kebetulan mengambil jurusan Ekonomi dan Manajemen. Dan sebelumnya saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih atas undangan dan kesempatannya untuk bisa sharing informasi dan ilmu pada acara webinar kali ini. Tak lupa juga saya menyampaikan salam sehat dan salam hormat kepada Bapak Dekan, Bapak Rektor, Bapak Dekan, beserta seluruh jajaran staf Universitas Bandar Lampung. Begitu juga dengan para narasumber yang hebat-hebat hari ini, dan tak lupa para partisipan yang hadir dalam acara webinar hari ini. Saya akan menyampaikan materi presentasi mengenai digital inklusi keuangan di Rusia khususnya, dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Oke, boleh tolong di-share screen materinya?
Okay, Ms. Dini, you can see the share screen right now.
Ya.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Oke, saya akan membahas mengenai digital financial inclusion di era pandemi, khususnya di Rusia. Sebelumnya tadi sudah dibahas ya sedikit oleh Stanislav, saya tinggal menambahkan saja. Boleh tolong di slide kedua? Slide berikutnya ya. Di sini kita bisa lihat beberapa efek dari pandemi terhadap perekonomian di Rusia. Tadi sudah disinggung oleh Stanislav juga ya, bahwa akibat dari pandemi ini menyebabkan PDB dari Rusia ini turun sebesar 3%, dan dibandingkan dengan kontraksi perekonomian dunia senilai atau sebesar 3,8% dibandingkan dengan di negara-negara maju sebesar 5,4% dan 4,8% dibandingkan dengan negara-negara pengekspor hasil komoditas. Pandemi juga menyebabkan tingkat pengangguran itu naik sebesar 6,3% pada Oktober 2020, dan ini merupakan yang tertinggi dalam 8 tahun terakhir ini. Dan yang berikutnya itu sebagian besar daerah atau region terkena dampak dari dampak negatif pertumbuhan ekonomi industri dan retail ya. Pada tahun 2020, di mana utang semakin memburuk dan juga makin banyak, ini ada sejumlah 57 region yang mengalami defisit anggaran dibandingkan dengan tahun 2019 itu hanya berjumlah 34, sedangkan tahun 2020 meningkat menjadi 57 region. Dan menurut data dari Bank Sentral Rusia, inflasi ditargetkan sebesar 4%. Namun pada kenyataannya, inflasi sekarang per Agustus 2021, inflasinya ada di 6,7%, masih tinggi ya. Dan key rate-nya itu, ini update terakhir, pada hari Senin ada di 6,75%. Boleh di slide berikutnya? Slide berikutnya, ya, terima kasih. Nah, ini kita lihat ya bagaimana otoritas keuangan negara ini merespon pandemi COVID ini. Apa saja yang dilakukan oleh pemerintah Rusia dalam menghadapi pandemi ini? Tadi sudah disinggung oleh Stanislav sebelumnya, ini saya menambahkan saja bahwa Bank Sentral telah mengalokasikan lebih dari 700 miliar rubel itu sebagai pinjaman kepada UMKM dan perusahaan-perusahaan lainnya. Juga pemerintah memberikan modal tambahan kepada organisasi keuangan mikro yang menyediakan pinjaman lunak untuk UMKM. Ada juga masa tenggang pinjaman hingga 6 bulan kepada peminjam yang mengalami penurunan pendapatan sebesar 30%. Dan bank komersial juga menawarkan penangguhan pembayaran dan juga pengurangan harga sehingga membuat pembayaran itu menjadi lebih terjangkau. Langkah berikutnya itu mengamandemen rencana pemulihan ekonomi nasional. Jadi untuk membentuk infrastruktur e-government yang luas sehingga dapat mencakup semua layanan publik mulai dari layanan pos hingga penerbitan izin usaha. Slide berikutnya. Ya, langkah-langkah inklusi keuangan apa saja sih yang sudah dilakukan oleh pemerintah Rusia. Yang pertama, ini pemerintah telah melakukan atau sudah memberikan bantuan berupa uang, itu berupa cash maupun ditransfer bagi mereka yang terdampak ekonomi, misalnya pekerja medis atau masyarakat yang kehilangan pekerjaannya akibat pandemi ini. Terus juga menyediakan kelayakan untuk pinjaman hipotek bersubsidi negara yang telah diperluas. Dan transfer bantuan pemerintah itu dilakukan melalui bank yang dikelola oleh pemerintah melalui kartu yang berlogo MIR. Nanti akan kita bahas di slide berikutnya. Terus ada juga pemerintah memberikan dukungan untuk sektor finansial untuk mempromosikan tujuannya untuk mempromosikan layanan pelanggan jarak jauh. Jadi khusus ya dengan tujuan khusus untuk memastikan bahwa lembaga keuangan non-bank itu bisa tersedia sampai ke daerah pedesaan. Slide berikutnya. Nah, kita masuk sekarang ke digital financial inclusion. Apa sih pengertian dari digital financial inclusion ini? Ini saya meng-highlight dua kata kunci ya, populasi dan layanan finansial. Ini inklusi keuangan ini menyediakan melibatkan penyebaran sarana digital hemat biaya, cost saving ini ya, untuk menjangkau populasi yang kurang terlayani secara finansial dan berbagai layanan keuangan formal yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan mereka. Tentunya dengan tanggung jawab dan juga biaya yang terjangkau dan sustainable berkelanjutan. Berikutnya. Ya, ini merupakan peta dari negara Rusia yang kita tahu Rusia ini sebagai negara terluas di dunia berdasarkan wilayahnya ya, berdasarkan areanya yang mempunyai luas sekitar 17 juta kilometer persegi dan mempunyai populasi hampir 146 juta jiwa. Dan per Januari 2014 wilayah Rusia ini terdiri dari 8 federal distrik. Ini dibagi-bagi, kita bisa lihat arahnya kita baca dari kiri ke kanan ya. Yang pertama itu yang berwarna kuning terang, itu namanya federal distrik. Kuning terang sebelah kiri. Capital city-nya Moskow, yang mana itu merupakan ibu kota federasi Rusia sendiri. Terus yang kedua itu biru muda di atas kuning sedikit. Itu Northwestern, capital city-nya Saint Petersburg. Kemudian yang agak ke bawah, yang berwarna pink, itu Southern, itu capital city-nya Rostov-on-Don. Yang paling bawah berwarna ungu yang paling kecil, itu North Caucasus, capital city-nya Pyatigorsk. Yang warna hijau itu di bawah, ya di samping Moskow ya, itu federal distrik Polga, itu Nizhny Novgorod. Nah, saya Mas Refli juga sekarang tinggal di area yang berwarna hijau ini, federal distrik yang warna hijau. Lanjut ke warna abu-abu di situ, itu namanya federal distrik Ural, capital city-nya Yekaterinburg. Terus yang warna hijau yang kedua yang lebih besar, itu federal distrik Siberia. Capital city-nya Novosibirsk, dan yang paling ujung itu yang paling besar timur jauh itu capital city-nya Khabarovsk. Ya, agak susah disebutkan ya Khabarovsk. Ya, boleh dilanjut ke slide berikutnya. Ini beberapa akses finansial, akses ke layanan keuangan. Tadi kan kita sudah ya betapa besarnya wilayah Rusia, dan ini kita tahu ada beberapa persebaran jumlah bank cabang ada sekitar 45.000 sekian, dibanding juga jumlah ATM-nya, ini menurut saya sudah cukup banyak ya. Ini sudah bisa mencakup, boleh dikatakan sudah bisa lah ya, dengan luas wilayah Rusia, dengan banyaknya juga akses ke finansial, pelayanan finansial diharapkan bisa mempermudah kegiatan masyarakat. Lanjut ke slide berikutnya. Nah, kita beralih ke microfinance, itu keuangan mikro. Jadi ada yang namanya microfinance institution, atau yang biasa kita sebut itu lembaga keuangan mikro. Nah, apa sih gunanya? Apa sih fungsinya microfinance ini? Jadi lembaga keuangan mikro ini menyediakan layanan keuangan untuk pelanggan yang memiliki akses ke produk, yang tidak memiliki akses ke produk perbankan, misalkan karena tinggalnya di daerah yang sangat terpencil gitu kan, makanya sangat terbantu dengan adanya microfinance ini. Dan di sini ada beberapa juga macam-macam microfinance, di antaranya ada microfinance organization atau organisasi keuangan mikro, ada juga koperasi kredit konsumen, kemudian kredit perumahan, ada juga pondok atau pegadaian, dan koperasi kredit pertanian. Slide berikutnya. Ya. Nah, sekarang kita masuk ke National Payment Cards. National Payment Cards ini tujuannya untuk menyediakan layanan pembayaran yang nyaman dan stabil untuk warga Rusia. Nah, ini salah satu program pemerintah Rusia beserta Bank Sentral. Jadi ini baru dibuat pada tanggal 23 Juli 2014 dan pada Juli 2020 sudah lebih dari 80 juta kartu yang berlogo MIR itu sudah dikeluarkan di Rusia. Jadi MIR ini artinya dalam bahasa Rusia itu dunia ya, world atau peace. Dan operator yang bertanggung jawab terhadap National Payment Card System ini tergabung dalam perusahaan saham gabungan, di mana 100%-nya ini dimiliki oleh Bank Sentral. Lanjut ke slide berikutnya. Ya, mobile payments. Tadi dikatakan oleh Mbak Yuni, oleh Bapak Habibur Rahman juga ya, sekarang sudah zamannya digital banking, mobile payments yang memudahkan segala macam transaksi pembayaran kita semua. Nah, di sini tadi dikatakan ya, lebih repot ketinggalan handphone daripada ketinggalan dompet ya, karena semuanya sudah terintegrasi, mau bayar sekarang tinggal pakai handphone. Jadi kita di sini, saya kalau misalkan contohnya ya, saya kalau misalkan pergi ke belanja untuk kebutuhan sehari-hari, itu tinggal kasir, terus kita cuma tinggal tap handphone kita aja, karena sudah terintegrasi dengan kartu ATM di sini juga dengan Google Pay. Jadi tinggal tap, tidak usah bawa kartu ATM-nya. Juga ini apa ya, menghindari penyebaran virus corona juga sih, bisa dibilang seperti itu. Terus juga ini payment system MIR ini apa ya, memberikan cashback kepada para pengguna kartunya. Kayak misalkan saya punya kartu, ini kartu ATM, logonya di sini bisa kelihatan ada logo MIR. Jadi di sini saya kalau pakai kartu ini dengan logo MIR, ketika saya membayar untuk ongkos transportasi, saya dapat diskon. Ya, ini kalau biasanya normalnya saya bayar kalau tidak ada logonya itu sebesar 27 rubel, tapi kalau misalkan pakai kartu ini saya hanya kena 24 rubel. lumayan kan untuk ukuran mahasiswa hemat itu ya selalu didahulukan. Terus juga ini National Payment Card System juga sudah bekerja sama dengan berbagai macam International Payment System. Itu kita bisa lihat ada Maestro, ada UCB, ada Amex, ada juga UnionPay, dan sudah diterima di lebih dari 12 negara. Tapi sayangnya Indonesia belum termasuk. Jadi 12 negara ini ada Armenia, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, Sipul, Uni Emirat Arab, termasuk juga Korea Selatan. Slide berikutnya. Ya, ini bagaimana sih pengawasan dalam National Payment System yang tadi saya jelaskan. Jadi ini kan programnya pemerintah beserta Bank Sentral Rusia, dan otomatis semua semua pengawasan itu dilakukan oleh Bank Sentral Rusia. Jadi Bank Sentral Rusia ini memantau dan mengawasi kepatuhan entitas-entitas dengan undang-undang beserta peraturan Bank Sentral Rusia untuk memastikan stabilitas dan pengembangan NPS ini. Dan di sini bisa lihat ada beberapa entitas yang terlibat dalam NPS ini, sektor publik dan sektor swastanya. Di sini bisa lihat entitas-entitas. Yang berikutnya, slide berikutnya. Oke, ini slide yang terakhir, konklusinya, kesimpulannya. Akibat pandemi ini kan mau tidak mau semua beralih ke sistem digital. Jadi saya lebih ke menyarankan untuk mewujudkan inklusi keuangan digital menjadi atau menuju ke inklusi keuangan secara nasional. Jadi untuk mewujudkan hal tersebut, saya membuat sedikit komponen strategi. Dimulai dari introduction, itu ada visi dan misinya. Jadi visi dan definisi maksudnya. Introduction ini maksudnya habis ini sih harus bisa menjawab kenapa sih penting, mengapa ini dianggap penting gitu. Dan ini inklusi keuangan ini dapat menjawab kenapa penting, kenapa harus ada inklusi keuangan nasional ini, dan di sini juga ditetapkan visinya seperti apa, definisi kerja inklusi keuangan itu seperti apa. Setelah itu baru dilakukan assessment atau penilaian. Jadi assessment ini penilaian keadaan saat ini, visi dan prioritas terhadap penilaian keadaan keuangan kondisi suatu negara itu bisa diidentifikasi apa saja hambatannya, apa saja peluangnya, sehingga visi dari tadi yang pertama bagian introduction itu bisa tercapai. Kemudian setelah penilaian adanya strategi objektif. Nah, di sini ada sasaran objektif, sasaran strategi, ada kebijakan, ada target kelompok mana saja yang harus diidentifikasi, target populasinya seperti apa. Terus juga ini nanti kemudian identifikasi berdasarkan penilaian dari assessment, dan kemudian diterjemahkan ke dalam target yang konkret, gitu. Target konkret, terukur, dan dapat diverifikasi. Nah, setelah strategi, baru kita adakan koordinasi dan implementasi. Nah, koordinasi dan implementasi ini, di sini harus diperlukan adanya kerjasama, konsultasi dan monitoring antara pihak swasta dan sektor publik. Jadi pada koordinasi ini bisa dilihat nanti akan dibuat struktur antara kerjasama antara pihak swasta dan sektor publik. Kemudian nanti juga dibuat menjadi suatu struktur dan mendapat dibuat struktur, lalu ada mandat yang jelas, dan yang paling penting adanya sumber daya yang terdedikasi. Nah, setelah koordinasi dan implementasi, barulah kita masuk ke monitoring dan evaluasi. Nah, monitoring dan evaluasi ini dilakukan oleh entitas-entitas tadi yang terlibat di dalam National Financial System tadi, dan di situ memang entitas itu wajib untuk melaksanakan fungsinya. Jadi dia bisa menghandle fungsi monitoring dan evaluasi sehingga memastikan semua implementasi itu berada di jalur yang benar dan target yang sudah ditetapkan dari awal itu bisa tercapai. Setelah semuanya mulai dari introduction sampai ke monitoring, sampailah kita ke action plan. Jadi tidak hanya sekedar teori saja, tapi ada aksinya, gitu, ada aksi nyatanya. Dari action plan ini kan tentunya ada roadmap, ada ide, ada inisiatif, dan juga ada kerangka waktu pengerjaan ya, serta lembaga-lembaga yang terkait tadi, ada pihak swasta, ada juga dari sektor publik. Itu semuanya bekerja sama untuk mewujudkan dan menghadirkan inklusi keuangan nasional. Nah, menurut saya sekian presentasi materi yang bisa saya sampaikan. Apabila ada pertanyaan, boleh nanti disampaikan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Itu besok saya. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Ginny, for your inspiring presentation. Related to the previous presentation by Mr. Stanislav Vladimirov, where Russia is experiencing problem with inflation and decline in the level of GDP. Technically, through the invention of the Russian government to revive its economy, it is necessary to have a policy that accommodate monetary policy that is channeled through national banks, so the public can receive and affect the policy in the form of ease of getting loans or capital with strict monitoring from the bank agency in Russia. Okay, after we listen to the presentation, we invited the participant to write down the related question addressed to Ms. Ginny Putri Pertiwi through the chat column in the Zoom app below. And now we're going to our next keynote speaker is Mr. Ilker Mithemerdin, which is still in the session of the delivery material, which is the next material by our fifth speaker is Mr. Ilker Mithemerdin, represented Oplok Incorporation Turkey, will be convey his input on this, even with the topic that he is already submit are the developments in Turkey's e-commerce sector. Okay, a little introduction about our fifth speaker today, that Mr. Ilker Mithemerdin, below the education level in Istanbul University in accounting major, and right now he served in KPMG Turkey. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ilker, which is companies in the sector providing audit, tax, and administrative services, and also served in Oplok Incorporation, which is a technology-driven logistic company in Turkey as an accounting and finance.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Look like Mr. Ilker Mithemerdin is ready to deliver his presentation. So to save our time, the floor is yours, Mr. Merdin.
Assalamualaikum dari Turki. Nama saya Ilker Mithemerdin. Saya akuntan di Ankara. Pertama-tama saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada yang terhormat Rektor Universitas Bandung Lampung, akademisi dan mahasiswa yang telah mengundang saya dalam agenda yang luar biasa ini. So bahasa Indonesia is habis and I'm continue to the English.
Okay, you're good in Indonesia, Mr. Ilker.
Terima kasih. Yes. Let me show the screen. I think okay. Yeah. Today, do you see the presentation? Is everything
yes,
okay?
we see the presentation right now, Mr. Ilker.
Okay. Thank you. Today, we will discuss about the developments in Turkey's e-commerce sector with accounting and financial solutions in COVID-19 pandemic. During pandemic, where we are at home for our health, there have been mandatory changes in the behavior of fulfill our needs. In terms of both the shopping needs of people at home and the continuity of the companies, it has given an incredible momentum to the e-commerce sector. Especially, it had a really big boom in the e-commerce sector because of this pandemic. Consumers have had needs such as being able to access to food, clothes, whatever you want, and buying, paying for, and being satisfied after the paying with the products during the pandemic. On the other hand, e-commerce sellers have had needs such as developing their sales channels, storage, shipping, and so the many business needs the warehouse in this pandemic. Is there anyone ask something? You want or seeing any hands in the? Any hands in here? Or you? Somebody wants to ask something, I think. Okay, continue. Do you hear me? Okay, go back. Well,
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Whenever you want, you can say something or ask something, and when you shake your hand, when I see your hands. So it has been a big problem that sellers who do not have curfew during the pandemic could not reach such as storage and shipping. As we know, some companies didn't have any permission to go outside because this is not obligation to the, for example, not food company or etc. The clothes company who sells about the clothes need the storage and really need to the fulfillment solution. So what do we do as Oplo? We do a fulfillment solution for the customer needs and e-commerce company for about. And what are we doing for this? We are warehousing, we are shipping, and we have the software support, and we have software management system, the warehousing management system. We are doing like this. So, well, what's happened in e-commerce sector during the pandemic? Let's look at the data. The number of the companies selling with e-commerce increased by 275%. Especially this data is current data. So today, the number of companies selling through e-commerce has reached about the 260,000 companies in Turkey. In 2020, the volume of e-commerce increased by 66% compared to the previous year and reached the 26 billion, almost about the 26 billion US dollar. And the number of orders, also we can compare the orders, on the other hand, increased by 68% compared to previous year and amount to 2.3 quantity like that. When the years between the 2019 to 2020 are compared monthly, like from the data, the e-commerce sector in Turkey, especially when we see the results and when we see the data, there is no decrease any month compared to previous year. Always the increasing between the previous year. This is really interesting for the e-commerce sector and all of the between the other sectors. We need the pandemic process has given us the habit of shopping with e-commerce method. Especially we already changed the habit. So nowadays we are, for example, somebody really wants to do the shopping from the markets by themselves. But nowadays, from child to older people, we really prefer to buying our needs from the e-commerce sector. And when we check the data, it increased by 59% in January, and when we see the February, it increased 66. But when the Corona is boomed in, you should know, that time the Corona is rising and we had to stay at home, the e-commerce sector is in really booming, like the very booming data. When we see the summer months, when the lockdown were gradually relaxing, there was a decrease in the rate of increased sales. And for example, while the May increasing 79, the September increasing by the previous data is 59%. Okay, we need to do shopping, we need to buy something, but what should we do for financial and accounting needs? I'm speaking about financial needs for individual person and also for the company. We really need things for that situation. So we need the rating for the new loan, and we need to postponing the installments because there is a bit the financial hard things and financial a bit crisis. And opening account, especially the people really talk about the digital banking and opening account. It's really big problem for the people who is more older than us, and credits need about for individual and for the company. So the solution have been opening account with digital banking and credit application. Especially, I will talk about more than the opening account, the credit application. What are we doing in nowadays? I will talk about. So when we look the accounting needs, the invoicing. So we had to stay at home. How do we prepare the invoicing? This is really big problem. Was really big problem. Recording. We are at home. The software in office. The documentary is from the customer. What can we do for the reporting? Recording and reporting. How could we do the reporting? Because we couldn't take the data, we couldn't take some of the invoices, etc. It was the really big problem. And liability to tax. So this solution become for this e-invoices, auto reporting, and online declaration to the tax authority. And I will show you the advertisement from Turkey, how to open an account. Especially there is no voice. I couldn't. You cannot hear the voice.
Yeah, we slightly can hear it, but we cannot really hear it clearly.
Do you hear this voice? Don't need. Especially this is the
yes. Okay.
Turkish. I will talk about the English how to open the account. Okay. So we download the application, and we are downloading the application, and we are entering the personal data from ID card, and we are entering the information code received on our mobile phone. And we are preparing the ID card. So in here, same the passport, every ID card has the barcode, and the bank is recognize the barcode from the mobile application. And we bring the ID card closer to the phone, and we identify and verify our face and open and bank accounts. So the picture is verifying now. So we have already opened the accounts from bank successfully. So why we need to use the ID card with the barcode and with the I mean this ID card, the contactless also, because they prevent to fake opening the fake accounts. So this is, for example, if we didn't verify our ID card with contactless, maybe there is possibility to open the fake account also in somewhere. So credit application, especially I want to tell you about what are we doing in between the accounting and the bank manager. Credit, what are we doing about the credit application? With the instant reporting we developed as the accounting and finance software team, and we are recording the invoices, everything as a accountant, and we to the accounting software, there is the connection with the application key with the Excel data. By integrating application key with the software program in which our accounting reports are located, we are locating with the application key. Especially, it is like the verifying with our system of the accounting with the Excel data. So we are reporting such as balance sheet, income statement, cash flow in same time. When we give this Excel data to the bank manager, when we recording the invoice in here, when the bank manager refresh the data, whenever want to fresh data, he or she can see the our financial statements instantly. And especially I will talk about this very easily. And in the other words, when we complete the accounting record, the software application automatically takes to Excel, to financial reports are filled automatically, and bank manager gives us also the money. And what about the subsides? You know, this process was really hard for all of us. And what happened in Turkey in that pandemic? Especially, I want to describe this process two way, because we had to stay at home in 2 times for 2 years. And when we see the first period, from March to July 2020, there is the subsides about the postponed tax declaration, also postponed tax payment, postponed credit installment, interest-free loan, and grant. And when we see the more than when we see the April 2021 to June 2020. There was a new things from the banking information. I mean the check rating. For example, when we don't pay the check, and the bank authority and also the government authority and also the tax authority give the notes and block the notes, so they couldn't write and they couldn't give the another customer the new check. So because the situation was hard, the government and the check authority do the save credit ratings. Okay, they give the time for months. Okay, if you have money, you pay your checks. If you don't have money, we will wait until June, and until June, if you cannot pay, okay, we will block your notes. So also there was the postponed tax declaration and payments and interest-free loan. So there was the financial needs, and now this is the accounting needs for us. Process of the e-invoice is really important for us, especially this is not new things. We have been using this for maybe 80 years. It was really old system, but people didn't have to choose this e-invoice system. So when the COVID process happened, they wanted to choose the e-invoice system because they don't want to touch anyone, or they cannot send this one in paper, and they can send with e-invoice with digitally. So the e-invoice system, which is one of the accounting solutions, was highly preferred in this pandemic. Companies have signed up the e-invoicing system at wonderful speedily. In this process, especially I want to show you the process. When you prepare the e-invoice, and e-invoice issued is sent it to the integrator. Integrator is this accounting software connection with us, with tax office, and it is filtered from the integrator and going to tax office authority. The integrator passes through the digital records of the tax administration, and it is transmitted in here. The tax authorization is checking also digitally, of course, the invoice, and this one is sent it to the customer integrator. Customer can reject or can say okay for this invoice. If customer reject, the invoice is coming again from the tax office with the reject them and coming to our accounting software, and we save this again. But when the customer or say okay to the invoice, they are recording. So what is the benefits of the e-invoice? Accounting and financial mistakes in the e-commerce are minimized. So when some company prepare the e-invoice in paper, when we are at pandemic, or we cannot take the invoice. Where is the invoice? When the invoice time? This was really open mistake for this situation. But when we use the e-invoice, we can check our system. Oh, okay, this invoice already arrived to us like this, and prevent to informal economy. This is really important. And when you prepare the e-invoice, you prevent the informal economy, and also we save the papers. And today there are about 515,000 e-invoice users. Especially, I want to show you from our system what is the e-invoice situation like this. Here, the status of the invoice issued and sent the integrator system is displayed. You can see this. For example, sales. This one is type of invoice, and what kind of product, or I mean the return like this. You can choose the invoice, and every invoice have the ID number. You cannot do another ID number. This is really important for also the Sharia banks, because when we want the loans from Sharia manager of the bank wants the e-invoice ID with the HTML data, and they wanted to verify the invoices within ID. So we are sharing when we use the Sharia loan, we always share our e-invoice data to them. And what about the I want to show, I would like to present a visual sample of e-invoice in Turkey. And invoice user is information here, the invoice user, and invoice data is written in here. We can write in here, and the invoice number in here also. And also at the bottom of the invoice, we can also add the whatever we want. For example, our company's bank accounts, bank branch, like this, we can add this area. And there is also the notes section where you add all the information about the bank account. Also why the exempt from tax must add why it's exempt from tax. It's played from in here the text. For example, 1%. This is the example like this, and you can see the total amount in here. And so what should we do for the declaration, e-declaration, and to the tax authority? How can we declare? I will talk about this. Declarations such as stamp tax, income tax, corporate tax are made to government completely online. The government also don't accept from with the paper sheet or etc. like this. They give us. They want the tax declaration from online. And you can see, for example, the approval time and approval time schedule in here. And also the barcode of the actual slip included in this declaration. Every company, for every tax, I mean for the corporate tax or the stamp tax like this, the government gives us the actual slip, and you can see the period of the tax also. And also for Sharia banks or without Sharia banks also request the e-declaration documentary if it is necessary. They want to see from us, and they check they are checking because in here we are entering also the balance sheet, income statement. We are entering to the corporate tax declaration. So the banks, when check the accuracy of the document from relevant code, they check from our Excel data. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Saya harap bisa berjumpa dengan Anda semuanya saat kura ini berakhir.
Terima kasih, Mr. Eker. You have a very good Indonesian language right there. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for a very impressive presentation by Mr. Ilker Metemerdin. So, which is represent of block in corporation. A little bit resume about this presentation is during the COVID pandemic, e-commerce actually has an increasing percentages of its volume of use. Through a series of systems that can be easily accessed and owned by customers, the need for e-commerce with financials can coverage all the needs so that the sales can meet and provide solution to the sale of product owned by public. Okay, after we listen to the presentation, we invite the participant to write down related question addressed to Mr. Ilker Metemerdin to the chat column in the Zoom app below by including the real name, agency you are from, and which is I will select it and read the question addressed to our speakers today due to our limited time in this occasion. And now we will immediately continue to presentation session of the next material by our sixth keynote speaker is Miss Alia Okta Safia Utami, represent as a student of University of Bandar Lampung. Ms. Alia will be convey his input on this event with the topic that she already submit are how is the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy, especially regional income during the pandemic. Miss Alia shall resume are right now Miss Alia Oktasevia Utami, follow the education level in University of Bandar Lampung in accounting department. Okay, without further ado, looks like Miss Alia is ready to deliver the presentation. Miss Alia?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, to save our time, the floor is yours, Miss Alia.
Thank you, Mr. Emil, and thank you for the time. Okay, I will share my PowerPoint. Sorry. Bisa dilihat? Ada.
Ya, saat ini kita sudah bisa lihat. Please go on.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this presentation. I'm really glad to see you. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Alia Oktasevia Utami. I'm from Indonesia, and I'm a student at the University of Bandar Lampung. Before we start the presentation, I would like to especially thanks to the University of Bandar Lampung for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this great event. And also my greetings to the great keynote speakers who had an excellent presentation before. This was a really amazing experience for me because this is my first time to speaking in an international forum. Okay. On this occasion, I will tell my story or maybe my personal experience, especially about how my research is related to the current pandemic crisis, because actually I'm in the final project of my undergraduate program right now. Jadi mungkin ini relate buat teman-teman yang mahasiswa, terutama yang mungkin adik-adik yang dari IBL juga yang kayaknya banyak. Next. Okay. What we'll talk about this time is, of course, still around the pandemic crisis. We all know that the pandemic has affected many aspects of life. In my final research, in particular, I took the theme of how pandemic affect local government revenue, especially in Lampung province, which is where I live. Based on law number 32 of 2004, revised to be law number 23 of 2014 concerning regional government, the central government give authority to regions to be able to manage their own household. Each region is given greater authority to regulate and manage the regional revenue and expenditure budget, or biasanya disebut FEBD. Next. This is, I put the structure of the FEBD province. So actually, why this is important? This is because the measure of how much revenue a region receives will show the managerial ability of the regional government. Including the component in it are regional income, regional expenditure, regional financing, but in this discussion, we will only focus on regional income, which includes regional original revenue, or PAD, as its constituent component. So this is how Indonesian Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati noted that the realization of regional original revenue in 2020 was only 250 trillion in rupiah. This figure decreased by 5% from the position in 2019, which amount to 293 trillion in rupiah. Since the first COVID-19 case was detected in Indonesia in March 2020, the pandemic has now spread to all provinces in Indonesia, with Jakarta as the city with highest case rate in Indonesia. Lampung itself is ranked by 80 highest COVID-19 case in Indonesia. This is with the last report. There are 148 positive cases with 11 deaths. 106 have recovered and 31 people are under treatment. And then how is the condition of regional income during pandemic of my research? This is the structure of the Lampung Province Regional Revenue Budget based on the Lampung Government APBD. The Central Statistic Agency of Lampung Province reported that the total budget issued by the Lampung Provincial Government for 2020 had all decreased. Wherein 2020, the level of the regional revenue budget decreased by minus 11% from 2019. This condition is reported to be aligned with the project slowdown economic growth, which is affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has an impact on decreasing consumption, which also has an impact on regional income. But at the end of 2020, it was reported that the realization of regional income had decreased by 5%. Actually, however, in the report of Bank Indonesia representative Lampung, it was reported that in the third quarter of 2020, the PAD level had increased, supported by increasing level of income from health sector. It was, as we know, that during the pandemic, the demand for health service has increased quite high. But even so, in the end, at the level of income received by the region was reported to have continued to decline, where the large decline rate is in terms of local tax revenue, where the decrease in tax revenue was caused by a decrease in the amount of tax revenue related to motor vehicles. This includes the motor vehicles fuel tax. We know during the COVID-19 pandemic, the level of vehicles mobility has also decreased due to the implementation of social distancing. So more people do their activities through their respective homes to suppress the spread of COVID-19 in Lampung province. And in fact, this condition was predicted. Bank Indonesia Lampung representative has reported that through 2020, the Lampung economy is expected to grow lower than 2019 2019. This is due to decline performance all of expenditure components. Household consumption is estimated to contract due to a decline in people's purchase, or which generally occurs in line with the unpaid leave policy and layoffs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Investment performance also contracted, influenced by the decline in government capital spending, both building and non-construction construction in construction sector activity, and investor wait and see behavior related to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, export activity increased due to the decline volume of world trade in the line with the negative growth of several trading partner countries in Lampung, especially United States, China, and India in 2020. As we know that 2020 is the year for the world economy, include Indonesia and Lampung province. The COVID-19 pandemic has evolved from a health crisis to an economy and social crisis that is changed global economic projection. In the minds of this condition, Lampung province economic growth in 2020 experienced a cross-section of minus 1%, 1.67%, lower than in 2019, where the Lampung economy was able to grow 5.26%. The construction and economic growth has resulted in the decline of several welfare indicator. Gross domestic product per capita is in 2020 depressed compared to 2019. Likewise, poverty and unemployment rates increased last year. So then what's the effort are made by the Lampung provincial government? The governor of Lampung, Mr. Arnold Junaidi, opened the 2020 Lampung Province Development Planning Deliberation in order to prepare the 221 Lampung Provincial Government Work Plan. The Lampung Provincial Government has prepared 6 policies. Some of policies efforts to anticipate the economic impact of the COVID-19 include, first, ensuring that the refocusing of the budget is implemented quickly according to the supporting regulation, technical guidelines, and institutions that have been established. Second, the execution of the health budget quickly and accurately, especially for the purchase of medical device, protection of health workers, and capacity building for referral hospital. The third, ensure that the most vulnerable economic group have the ability to meet their daily needs and accelerate the realization of social assistance program. Fourth, guarantee the operational continuity and business incentive, especially in sectors that are quite deeply affected. And fifth, synergy and harmonization of policies between the central, provincial, and district or city government in making adjustment to development expenditure and budget, so the efforts to handle COVID-19 are productive and optimal and on a target. The last, maintaining economic stability and continue to build public confidence in economic performance through policy analysis and evaluation of the impact of COVID-19 on the economy from the time to time, as well as taking further policy coordination steps to maintain macroeconomic and financial system stability in Indonesia to maintain stable and well-running economic growth. Okay, so that's all I can say. I know it was not too much, but I hope it can be useful and also be a possible idea for all of you friends who are interested in making it a research in the future. Thank you very much for your great attention, ladies and gentlemen. And sorry if in my presentation there were words or language that are not good or difficult to understand, because actually my English not very good. Thank you so much. See you and stay healthy.
Okay, Ms. Alia, thank you very much for the presentation, which is very good, Mr. Alia. So we already hear from Ms. Alia say during the COVID-19 pandemics, people income will be decreased and of course will be reduced people purchasing power for the products sold in the market. So to anticipate, the government issues a series of policies, which is one of the government harmonizing from center to all province by adjusting expenditures and budget fund. Okay, after we listened to a presentation, we invited the participant to write down related question addressed to Ms. Alia to the chat column in the Zoom app below. And Ms. Alia will be able to continue to respond to questions that cannot be conveyed later through the direct contact with is already she put on the last slide on her material today. Okay, and now our next speakers today is Mr. Andoni Borneo Barusman. We'll be listening to the feedback from our last speakers on today's event, where in this session of the next material by our 7th keynote speaker, Mr. Andoni Barusman, who represents University of Bandar Lampung. Which is basically Mr. Andoni will be deliver his response and the occasion to the topic related to all the 6 keynote speakers at this seminar. This is very surprising and very encouraging for us to be able to listen to his response regarding the financial condition during this COVID pandemic. Little introduction about our last speaker today. I would like to read some of the resume from Mr. Andoni, which has he to the education level in Faculty of Economic and Business in University of Indonesia, 2016, and Bachelor of Science in Economic and Business, University van Amsterdam in Amsterdam, 2016, and get the Master of Science in Business Economic, University van Amsterdam in Amsterdam, 2017, and in Finance and Investment, Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University, Rotterdam in 2020. And have a several work experience and organization activity, which is the Torin Investment as a financial analysis, Ernst & Young and Valuation, Modeling and Economic Associate, and in Mandiri Banking as an investment banking internal and investment management intern. And also, as I mentioned, have been do on organization activities as the president of Faculty Economy, University of Indonesia, batch 2012. So, as we already know that Mr. Andoni has a very deep knowledge related to our topic today, without losing the time, let's listen to his response about today's seminar. Mr. Andoni, the floor is yours, Mr. Andoni.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Emil. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Andoni.
You all still can hear me because it's been a long time. We have spent 3 hours, right, since the start of this seminar. So I hope that you can still follow my view about these topics. Again, thank you for the time that's given to me. We've already heard many insights from our great speakers. There's Mr. Stanislav and Mr. Habibur Rahman, Bu Yuni, and then Ms. Gine, and there is Mr. Iker and Alia. All of them have discussed many topics surrounding the economy as well as the financial inclusion, especially during this pandemic, COVID-19. So right now, maybe I would like to start by giving my own view about this topic. And later on, if the time still exists, I will try to discuss some of the key points that our speakers have presented. Let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see my the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen right now, Mr. Andoni. Please go on.
Yeah. All right. We know that financial inclusion is such a trending topic surrounding the economy and the financial industry, as well as it has become a major government concern in order to reduce many economic problems such as poverty and then income inequality, and to also boost the economy of a country. And as financial inclusion and financial literacy have become the leading indicators to measure the level of people's access to financial service, I think the effort needs to be consolidated by all the stakeholders. I'd like to present my my thinking about these topics. I like to present about 3 factors that could improve the financial inclusion in a country, and later on I'd like to discuss more in the condition of Indonesia, because I spend most of my time here. The first one is actually regarding the education, and the best way to get people educated, in my point of view, is actually by building the ecosystem. And we have witnessed this in the development of the ecosystem of the digital economy over the past few years. If we talk about, for example, the tech service industry, it has played a significant role in changing the way we live as well as the way we think. And like the rise of for example, the ride-hailing industry, such as Uber. It started from Uber in the US and then it developed in other countries all over the world. And like in Indonesia, we can have a Gojek and Grab, which delivers a transportation service. This company actually changed the way people consume, especially commute, and it also changed the way people see things, especially regarding how we should fulfill our daily needs. And for example, like commuting, especially within a city or with a no or poor public transportation, like in Indonesia, in many places in Indonesia, we have a very poor public transportation. Even in Lampung, maybe we only have like some kind of a bus transportation, and which is, I don't know if it still operates frequently. With this service, it has no longer forced us to have cars or our own motorbikes, and instead it actually gives us some kind of a flexibility to move from one place to another by using their service. And also it changed the way we actually see things, like a transportation service. We actually doesn't need cars or motorbike nowadays. What we need is actually like flexibility to move from one place to another, as well as the punctuality and one more like safety. That's all. And like these ride-hailing companies provide services with a great transportation service that meets those standards, and without the needs of having our own car, or our own motorbike. And the same things also happens to these companies like Gojek. They don't need to have their own cars to operate this kind of service, massive service in Indonesia. What they need is just simply to connect people that have a car or have a motorbike with those that need this transportation service, and of course through technology and to the superpower of our smartphones. And so people now realize that owning an asset is no longer become a necessity or the integral part of how we can fulfill our basic needs. Instead, we now realize that the intrinsic values of a service are the one that we should put more concern. And that's an example how the digital economy could reshape our behavior, our mindset. And it also happens to other sectors such as e-commerce, like what Mr. Iker has just presented to us. And also, if you talk about food delivery service, you have GoFood and then GrabFood and many other things. Even the hotel industry, if you ever heard about Airbnb, they disrupt the hotel industry now by simply connecting people that has accommodation such as apartment with those that need a place to stay. Why I talk so much about these topics, about these companies first, I don't know, 5 minutes, because there's actually one big thing that these tech companies bring to the people beside their core service, and that is the way we transact, the way we do transaction. Imagine like 15 years ago, who would expect that we can pay things through our smartphones? And who would expect that we can we don't need to bring our wallet with so many cash and credit cards and debit card inside our pockets and still be able to buy things in the store and in restaurant. And instead now what we actually need is just to bring our phones, and when you're in the shop you just need to simply take out your phone and then screen some kind of shape, a weird shape, which we now call like a QR code. And yeah, it's done. Like the transaction is done with no cash and no card at all. And we might not realize that these companies actually have been shaping the digital ecosystem all over the world, including the digital payment. Now more and more people use less cash and move to digital payment like GoPay or OVO or Shopee Pay, like you name it. There's so many in here in Indonesia, especially right now. So my first key takeaways is that building the ecosystem is actually the most powerful tool to introduce and educate people to access the financial service and therefore increase the financial inclusion. And with a good ecosystem and strong synergies between the key stakeholders, either the digital companies or the banking, either it's conventional or digital banking, and the fintech, and then we as the education institution, and of course, as well as the governments, this will, I think, speed up the introduction process to people about the digital system, digital payment. And it all those will also reshape the people's habit and dependencies on financial services through technology. And I think that these key stakeholders, I think, have taken their parts to some extent. We have discussed, I just mentioned about the big role of the tech service industry regarding how can they shape our habits. And the effort to create a good digital ecosystem is hard to achieve without the involvement and the support of the government. And I think also that the government has to do some part, that has been mentioned in one of the speakers. I think Mr. Habibur Rahman says something about QR is Chris. Yeah, that's what Bank Indonesia do. That they provide a Chris service in order for us to be able to shop in the store with a QR code instead of paying cash. And also nowadays, in this last several months, I think there's a hot topic about digital banks. Like if you ever heard about, for example, Bank Jago, and then there's also from the BCA that they are planning to have their own digital bank as well. I think it's called Lose or something. Yeah, they provide a banking service, but without the physical assets. They only have, I think, not more than 5 offices all over Indonesia. And if you follow the, for example, the capital market, the IHSG in Indonesia, like Bank Jago, which is acquired by Gojek in this last year, I think. Like the market cap has grown rapidly. The stock market really appreciate this kind of company. I don't know whether it's just a sentiment or like their expectation about the future of the digital banking. Yeah, I think the stock market has risen more than 2,000% in a year, and it's very crazy. Yeah, and also the education system. The education institution, which I think also has a major part to educate people, especially the younger generations, to participate more in the financial service. So the first one is about the building ecosystem. So what's next? What's the second one? And the second one is actually by embracing the sense of urgency. there should be like some kind of sense of urgency surrounding the ecosystem, and it can be either be given or created. So, for example, like the COVID-19 that we have discussed is actually given by nature. I don't know about the debate about it's man-made or something, or it comes from China, but this COVID-19 pandemic, it's unquestionable that this pandemic has speed up the transition to digital service as well as the digital payment. We might witness that e-commerce that Mr. Iker just mentioned, which is grown so rapidly in Turkey, it also grows significantly in here in Indonesia. If you go from like in surrounding residence area in Indonesia, actually you will see so much logistics come and going to all over the households to deliver goods from the e-commerce. Yeah, because I think this pandemic has also reshaped our behavior right now and changed the people's preference in terms of shopping. Yeah, and the second one, I think that there should also, these urgencies, it should also be created, you know. And what do I mean by that is that it's some kind of part of a government role to present this sense of urgency in terms of, for example, digital payment. I think government has a huge role in making a regulation that support the transition process into digital financial service, because as we've already discussed, the technology innovation contributes a lot to the improvement of the financial inclusion. And also like financial authority like OJK, for example, I think has done some part in making regulation that ease the process of financial service activity. For example, if you open a security account, for example, Desa Sekuritas or Mandiri or anything else, with only like 100,000 rupiah, you can already trade stocks or buy reksadana or mutual funds. And yeah, that's all I think. But we still need to progress. There's a lot to be done, especially for Indonesia, because if you talk about, for example, China, the second largest economy in the world, the size of the digital transaction in a year, if I'm not mistaken, is something about 2 times of its GDP per year. And in Indonesia, I think it's still somewhere below 50%. Yeah, and also like in Europe, I've experienced. I spent my college year in Netherlands about 4 years, and there people almost never use cash anymore, and they simply use what we call PIN, which is you can grab your debit card and just tap it in some kind of like e-money. Or you can use your gadget, your phone, and do like a contactless payment via, for example, Apple Pay or any other through the NFCs. And I think government has a huge role in creating this kind of policies that can shape the ecosystem that support the non-cash activity in the market. I think that's so the first one is education. By building an ecosystem and embracing a sense of urgency surrounding this ecosystem. Okay, so the second one, the factors that improve financial inclusions, I think it's regarding the infrastructure. One big challenge that hampers the financial inclusion, especially in Indonesia, is to reach the people in remote areas. You know that Indonesia is a very large country in terms of areas. You have 17,000 islands, and then if you stretch a line from Sabang to Merauke, it's actually the same size as the European continent. Yeah, I'm not joking, because we are located in the what's it called equator line. So our size is very big actually, and To reach people in remote areas, it's another challenge, and it's harder to tackle prior to the internet era, because the first one is costly for banks or other financial institutions to deliver their service for people that are located far from the city. And with the presence of internet, I think it has lightened this challenge, because what we need now is the access to internet in the remote areas. Given that nowadays internet is part of our basic needs, even some people maybe prefer to have extra quota than to have their own lunch. It's quite funny, but it's real, because this internet is quite important nowadays. So government has a huge role to provide internet access and coverage all over the country. And some of the government's actions, including, like if we heard in the news, they create a Palaparing project. It's a mega project that is expected to contribute to the prevalent internet coverage in Indonesia, and as well as cost-friendly internet service, especially in the remote area. And also, like, beside the government, like the stakeholders in the telecommunication sectors, like Telkomsel, they start to provide a 5G network, which I think is very important in terms of having a fast and reliable internet service. And yeah, so the first one is providing internet access. It's much of a government role and some kind of telecommunication institutions. And the second one is actually connecting pipelines. This is a big task that people rarely see. In order for a financial technology service can be connected, for example, to SMEs and corporations. And this service actually lies beneath the surface. So this is the job that cannot be seen like we see, for example, GoPay or OVO. But they're actually the ones, the job that connect the pipeline for digital payments. If you ever heard, like in here I put Zendit, this is actually a company that provides a service to build payment infrastructure that enable companies to provide digital payments. But unlike GoPay or OVO, which we often see in mall or in the e-commerce website, this company building bridges that connect one institution with the other, as well as institution with its customers, to allow the operation of digital payments. This company might be less heard in general discussion, but actually they are the first Indonesian company to gain funding from the Y Combinator. So Y Combinator is the most famous startup accelerator that provides seeds funding for startup and is located in Silicon Valley. They are the first Indonesian company that has that gains the funding. So it's incredible. And what I want to emphasize is that we need more players in this area, actually, in order to help the government speed up the digital infrastructure in Indonesia to connect one institutions with the other to allow for digital payments. Yeah, so this is the second one. It's regarding infrastructure. And the third factor that I would like to discuss regarding to improve the financial inclusion is about the quality of the product, the quality of the financial service. As already mentioned, that disruptions in ride-hailing industry is possible because Gojek and Grab or Uber have focused on delivering the core quality of transportation, so that changing the way people transport is possible. Like the same strategy should also be implemented in financial sector. As we know that financial service is related to money management, right? It's discussing about how we should control our money how we delegate our money to be managed by the other people. And the core quality of the financial service is of course regarding the safety. And as a user, we need to put safety in our quality list since the first time we study about any financial service, either it's mutual funds or it's obligation if you want to trade stocks. You need to first concern about this quality, which is regarding the safety. So like if you want to start trading stuff, you should really careful because you need to really understand which security company you want to register and make sure that this institution is registered by OJK. That's the first thing that needs to be concerned. And the second one is regarding the experience of the user. Like it should be user friendly. Like the fast growing innovation in fintech comes with a challenge that not all people are tech savvy, to be honest. Like that's why in fintech sector, most of the retail customer consists of millennials or like the Z generation, because they are the group of people that can easily adapt to technology. And in order to increase financial inclusion to any subgroup of people, whether it's young, old, or rich or poor, or female or male, providing a user-friendly experience in the service is also a key quality that any fintech players should put more concern. So yeah, that's the three factors that I think will influence how the financial inclusion level will improve in the future. So now let's talk about Indonesia. Like how far we've been going in terms of improving financial inclusion. Like, as you can see, this is the survey that is conducted by OJK in 2019, which is prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And in terms of financial inclusion, Indonesia have actually progressed quite significantly with the level of financial inclusion in 2013 of 60% versus almost more than 76% in 2019. And this has surpassed the government's target of 75% in 2019. And this number is, as you remember, is before the COVID-19 pandemic, which I believe the number now should be higher because the urgency is to use digital payments, especially during the pandemic. But the big homework actually lies in the left side, which is the literasi keuangan, which is financial literacy. If financial inclusion related to the level of accessibility and availability of financial service to the people, financial literacy actually related to the people's understanding about the financial product. And the level of financial literacy is quite low, which I think if you see, it's slightly more than half of the level of financial inclusion. For example, in 2019, the level of financial literacy is only 38%, while the level of financial inclusion is 76%. But actually, this kind of condition is actually normal because it happens in many countries. And what does this mean? Like, this means that many people have used financial service products without actually fully understand the product. Yeah, that's the sad thing. And this is quite worrying because as financial products are related to managing people's money, and we need to really understand the product, especially the risk that is involved in the product. Otherwise, people could easily lose money from using any financial products without understanding why they lose their money, especially also in the capital market. Many people put their money in the capital market, for example, mutual funds, reksadana A, reksadana B, and several months later, their money decreased by 20% and don't know why they lose their money, either because of the investment manager is quite poor or because the institution is not registered in OJK and they got some kind of a fraud. And yeah, this is a highlight that we need to think about. And if you break down the financial inclusion in the downside here, like the financial inclusion and financial literacy by sectors, as you can see, the level is mostly dominated by banking sectors, perbankan, while other sectors are relatively low. And also, if you can see, the lowest would be pasar modal, capital market, and microfinancing, modal keuangan mikro. And they're both the lowest in terms of financial inclusion and financial literacy. So actually, it's the banking sector that drives the condition of why the overall financial literacy is lower than the financial inclusion. Because if we see the other segment or the other sectors, the financial literacy is actually higher than the financial inclusion. For example, in capital market or pasar modal, if you can see the financial inclusion level in 2019 is about less than 2%, but the financial literacy is actually almost 5%. So actually, there are many people that understand capital market, but don't have the bravery to go into this capital market. So I think it's part of the lack of risk-taking behavior. And this is the one that we need to put also more concern, because actually, like the capital market, this is the segment of the investment that has a very high return and of course a very high risk, but there is very little people that involved in this sector. So by seeing this, actually there's still a lot to be done, especially in Indonesia. And it's the duty of all of us to improve the condition. And financial service is not only about digital payment or e-wallet, as you know, but the other core element that needs to be prioritized is, for example, lending and investment. And I think Indonesia is not lack of talented people. There are so many smart people in this country, and that has like the talent to become a businessman or great entrepreneurs. But we are actually lack of access to capital. That's the sad thing. And in terms of lending, there has been some innovation in fintech, such as peer-to-peer lending. There's also like crowdfunding. And I think we are in the right direction to improve the lending segment, especially for the SMEs. But I think the speed needs to be improved, needs to be accelerated. And also, like the capital market sector, there's still plenty of room to improve this because the number is quite low. But actually, we have a good news in terms of the development of the capital market in Indonesia. The next slide. Yeah, even though in terms of financial literacy, it's still very low, but we're actually progressing. This is the news that I take, just now, I think, 16th September right now is, it's today actually, like the investor pasar modal next 99%. Like, this is a huge change, right? So, and it's dominated by younger people. Like in the right side, if you talk about the investor profile in Indonesian Stock Exchange, right now the domestic investors start to dominate our stock market, and this is a good thing. The good thing in terms of the stability of our index. In terms of the number of investors account, we are at 44% versus the foreign. But in terms of stock ownership, we're actually tied with the foreign investors. So it's actually a good thing, especially after the pandemic, because maybe you've heard. So there's so many public figures now try to promote or show that they are now invest in stocks or invest in mutual funds. They use some kind of digital service to invest, such as Bibit or Bareksa. You might ever heard about this kind of companies. And this is a huge improvement in the Indonesian stock market. But however, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of the total Indonesian population, the financial inclusion and financial literacy needs to be improved a lot. And this is the task of all of us, the government, the IDX, financial institution, as well as we, the education institution, to improve the financial literacy and financial inclusion. And also, especially in the campus, like I think not only the students, but also we, the lecturer, needs to understand and participate in the capital market, especially because I think the return on investment is the highest compared to the other sectors. And all we need to do is understand and manage the risk. That's all. And yeah, but we should do it more carefully. We may start by diversifying, like maybe 10% and then 30% on capital market, and then and the other 70% on the other maybe pasar uang, reksadana pasar uang, or obligations. But it's a good way to start right now. We need to educate ourselves and we start to invest for the future. So I think that's all my view about this topic. And I think it's more or less related to the materials that has been discussed by the other speakers before me, knowing that the time is limited. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you so much for the very inspiring response to Mr. Andoni. It is very well to hear your feedback about and so related to our topic today. So Mr. Andoni Fornio Barusman, we already hear from him that final inclusion such as by education and social activities that can build the ecosystem and make everything for living is going easy to do with the very fast technology movement process. And with all the adaptive technology, the financial inclusion increased significantly, and for sure it can boost economy through improvement as we begin to mingle with the conditions that are very difficult to interact personally during this COVID-19 era. Okay, we listen to the presentation. After all, we invite to the participant to write down the related question addressed to Mr. Andoni Fornio Barusman through the chat column in the Zoom app below by including your name, your real name, and agency you are from. Ladies and gentlemen, for the list attendees and certificate link can be seen in the chat column and can contact the committee for today event who has been written on the current international spinal flyer as I mentioned before. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have gone through the whole series of this event for today's seminar. So now it is, I can say we going into the Q&A session. Which is I now have received a question through this writing media right now, and also the participants who are still connected at this time can directly ask to our speakers by opening your audio connection. And also I will remind you all that after our Q&A season ended, you will be guided and able to join a quiz with prize, where the session will be handed over to Bank Central Asia to do the quiz session. Okay, right now we already seen in this chat column. The question is from Angelia Putri, is one of our student in University of Bandar Lampung. Akan bertanya ya ini ya ke Kak Jini Putri, bisa dilihat di kolom chat. Tadi minta menjelaskan bahwa Bank Sentral pemerintah memberikan bantuan kepada masyarakat yang terkena dampak dari pandemi. Apakah dengan dibantu oleh Bank Sentral keadaan inklusi keuangan di Rusia tetap stabil di masa pandemi, khususnya yang mempunyai usaha di sana? Okay, Ms. Jini, you can respond to this answer right now.
Terima kasih atas pertanyaannya. Untuk Angelina Putri, salam kenal. Mengenai pertanyaannya, di sini saya bisa jawab. Tadi kan sudah dijelaskan ya, ada bagaimana respon pemerintah Rusia menghadapi situasi pandemi dengan salah satunya dengan memberikan bantuan. Nah, di situ ada beberapa kriteria. Ada beberapa masyarakat yang berhak menerima bantuan, dan itu bantuan pemerintah itu telah berhasil memperkecil jumlah kemiskinan gitu. Dengan adanya tunjangan-tunjangan tadi, besaran tunjangannya itu maksimum dari upah minimum di sini sekitar 12.130 rubel, kalau di kurs rupiah itu sekitar 2 juta. Sekitar 2,2 juta rupiah lah ya. Dan itu juga kalau misalkan kalau misalkan orang yang terdampak atau orang yang terdampak akibat pandemi dan kehilangan pekerjaannya dengan status sebagai orang tua tunggal di mana mempunyai anak berusia di bawah 18 tahun itu mendapat lagi tambahan subsidi sebesar 3.000 rubel atau sekitar 580.000 kalau di kurs rupiah. Nah, di situ juga dijelaskan akibat dari dari tunjangan-tunjangan tersebut membantu masyarakat memperkecil jumlah kemiskinan. Dan tadi saya menyinggung masalah National Payment Card System gitu ya, di mana itu sudah berlaku sebelum masa pandemi. Nah, dengan adanya sistem pembayaran nasional tersebut, itu membantu sektor-sektor usaha yang sudah yang sudah melakukan atau sudah terintegrasi ke dalam sistem pembayaran nasional itu, sehingga tidak mengganggu usahanya gitu. Dan itu berakibat tidak mengganggu stabilitas perekonomian nasional. Dan di situ rasio pre-pandemic advance in digitalization paid off and enable Russian society to operate reasonable effective during lockdowns. Jadi walaupun lockdowns, sudah ada sistem pembayaran nasional yang tadi National Payment System itu sangat membantu sekali. Dan tingkat pengangguran juga sudah jauh berkurang dari tahun sebelumnya. GDP juga diperkirakan tumbuh sebesar 3,2% di tahun 2021 sampai 2022 ini. Tingkat pengangguran ya walaupun 4 sektor yang sangat terdampak dari pandemi itu antara lain manufacturing, construction, retail and hospitality, dan health social services itu terkena dampak dan menyumbang angka sekitar 1 juta orang ya, sekitar 1 juta orang lebih kehilangan pekerjaan, tapi dengan dengan bantuan pemerintah itu bisa dihandle dan dapat tingkat pengangguran pun berkurang ya, yang tadinya di 6,4% berkurang menjadi sekitar 5,4%. Mungkin tadi saya ada sedikit salah salah menyebutkan angka di presentasi. Jadi unemployment rate-nya itu di angka 5,4%. Sekian jawaban saya. Kalau misalkan ada yang kurang jelas, nanti bisa saya kasih materi yang lebih lengkap. Nanti hubungi saya via email, boleh. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ginny, for the enlightening question from our participant who will be able to fulfill their curiosity about the topic today. And then we go to a couple questions that we already received down below in this chat. As you can see is, good afternoon, yeah, is from Cindy, okay, the participant from University Bandar Lampung Studio. Would like to ask questions to the keynote speakers about how do we handle consumptive behavior while using fintech payments. So I will directly this question to Mr. Eicher and Mr. Mertim, I guess. So Mr. Eicher, can you just answer these questions directly? And for all those who want to answer a question, you can raise hand and then I will open the microphone for you so you can ask directly right now to our keynote speakers today. Okay, Mr. Eicher, please.
Is there any question to me?
Yes, this is the question from Cindy. We would like to ask question to about how handle consumptive behavior while using the fintech payment.
Fintech payment, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. For example, especially I couldn't understand this question, but
oh, okay. Okay, I mean, yeah, okay. It is the because you're doing the e-commerce session in your presentation right now, so maybe we can change directly to another keynote speaker. which is because the Cindy, maybe you can put the who to whom you will directed the question for the keynote speakers today. Okay, I will continue later to back to the Cindy question after she put the to whom he directly this question to. So next question is from Indah Natalia from University Bandar Lampung, who want to ask question about fintech memberikan dampak yang sangat positif. And then this question is still without to whom is gonna be to directed. So please, to all the participants who want to asking question, put the question to whom you gonna be asked to. So there is so many questions I received through this chat column. They indicated our participants, they are still enthusiastic to contributing and are very curious about this topic. So, okay, well, okay, there is another question that I can see here. Okay, selamat sore, saya Christine Klalorin ya, ingin bertanya apakah upaya yang dilakukan untuk mendukung inklusi keuangan Indonesia pada saat pandemi COVID-19 saat ini. Oke, mungkin this question can we direct to Mr. Andoni, because which is I see in his presentation you make the dukungan inklusi keuangan in Indonesia, which is in pandemic COVID-19 right now. So, Mr. Andoni, can you just put the enlightening answer for the question from Christine Klalorin?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Emil.
Okay, thank you.
Question from Claudine. Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've explained 3 factors in the broad way. Like it depends on who we are actually. Like, if you're a government, then we do some kind of improvement in the infrastructure. And if you are working on the financial institutions, that maybe you try to improve your quality of the products. And for students, I think which is involved many in education, I think it's the best way first is to educate yourself. There's so many sources out there regarding the financial services that we can learn. For example, if you want to learn about investing in the stock market, you can just open the YouTube, or you can register to, for example, Sekolah Pasar Modal online by the IDX, or if you want to try some kind of another product, yeah, there's a lot of resources out there in the internet. And also our obligation is to influence people surrounding us. For example, the closest to us is our family. Like, for example, the simplest things may be try to talk to for example, our parents to use less cash and do more digital payment because it's easier, it's more efficient. Like this kind of small things actually will contribute to the improvement of the financial inclusion. I think that's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andoni. Hope that question can answer the curiosity to our participant that still with us today. So we back to that question before, which is from Cindy. Okay, so this question is to direct to Miss Uni Francisca. Okay, so Mrs. Uni Francisca, there is a question for you right now. It's say that would like to ask questions about the handle consumptive behavior while using fintech payment. So, Mr. Uni, can you just please answer the question?
Oke, thank you, Mr. Emil. Jadi kalau untuk kita kebiasaan konsumtif menggunakan fintech, sebenarnya kembali ke kesadaran kita masing-masing, teman-teman. Jadi contoh nih kayak tadi kita mulai atur di pengeluaran kita. Contoh pendapatan kita itu 1 juta gitu ya. Kita harus olah nih pengeluaran kita 15% itu untuk yang namanya want ataupun keinginan. Jadi cukup 150.000 untuk kita buka fintech. Selebihnya harus saving gitu. Jadi kembali ke kesadaran kita masing-masing, atur pengeluaran sesuai dengan porsinya. Karena kalau kita nih terus-terusan ke fintech, yang ada, apalagi perempuan ya biasanya lihat diskon gitu ya, atau free ongkir itu biasanya kan lebih memicu untuk belanja gitu ya. Kembali ke kesadaran masing-masing, atur lagi pengeluarannya, boleh diatur sebagai 15% untuk keinginan. Nah, lainnya boleh di setting. Itu Mr. Emil atau Cindy.
Okay, thank you, Miss Uni, for the answer. Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, right now we already reached our end of session. There is still so many questions that I cannot read it right now due to our limited time here. So if there is still have a question, maybe our keynote speaker can reach you by contact directly to their contact, which you can contact to our representative for this event today. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the last word reaches us at the end of the event. Okay, thanks to all of you, especially to the participants who have followed this serious event from beginning to the end. I really appreciate the enthusiasm of the participants who are very enthusiastic in this responding and making extraordinary contribution to this event. So we have gone through a series of events that are very useful for me personally, and you two all with community interest need to remember to discuss like this, as we'll get a forum that provide very informative input, and it's expected to be applied to our life. So I apologize if there is any word that are not pleasing to deliver this event. Keep sweet, keep happy and healthy always for all of you. Thank you very much again. God bless you to all. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I return the order of event to Cindy. Please, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Emil, for time. Now we will have the quiz session with Mr. Fani from BCA KCU Bandar Lampung. Mr. Fani Marsudi, the time is yours.
Oke, terima kasih kepada Ibu Cindy. Pada sore hari ini, saya Fani Marsudi, saya CSO dari BCA KCU Bandar Lampung. Hari ini saya sedikit mau ada kuis untuk kepada adik-adik sekalian ya. Nah, bagi tadi yang sudah menyimak sedikit presentasi dari Kak Yuni, nah boleh nih kita refreshment sebentar ya. Jadi saya akan membacakan pertanyaan, jadi nanti kalian cukup jawab di kolom chat. Peraturannya nanti untuk yang pertama kali memberikan jawaban yang paling benar dan paling cepat dialah pemenangnya. Nanti kita akan ada bagi-bagi 5 orang beruntung yang akan mendapatkan tabungan dari BCA. Oke, boleh siap-siap ya jempolnya di handphone atau di laptop jadinya. Saya akan bacakan pertanyaan pertama. Oke, berapakah maksimal hutang yang sehat dalam keuangan? Berapakah persentase maksimal hutang? Oke, kita dapat satu pemenangnya. Oke, dari Yoviani ya. Oke, saya print screen dulu. Yoviani boleh direct message ke saya via Zoom ini untuk menginformasikan nomor WA-nya. Ya. Oke, kita lanjut ya ke pertanyaan kedua, biar cepat. Pertanyaan kedua, wadah pengelolaan dana atau modal bagi sekumpulan investor untuk berinvestasi pada instrumen pasar modal dengan cara membeli unit penyertaan disebut. Oke, 1 dapat. Wah, anak OBL hebat-hebat ya. Saya nggak nyangka loh. Kalian bisa, mesti masih merecall gitu setelah beberapa menit berlalu. Saya screenshot dulu, sebentar. Buktinya, oke. Yang pemenang dari pertanyaan kedua ini ada Angelina Putri dari UBL. Boleh chat direct message ke saya, nomor WA-nya ya, biar nanti saya bisa hubungi lebih lanjut untuk prosedur pengambilan hadiahnya. Tadi yang pertanyaan pertama pemenangnya dari Noviani. Oke. Pertanyaan ketiga ya, saya lanjutkan ya. Sebutkan 4 profil risiko investor. Oke. Di sini, wah banyak juga ya pertanyaannya. Oke, kita dapat pertanyaan dari pertanyaan yang ketiga. Cindy, boleh di direct message ke saya untuk nomor WA-nya, nanti biar untuk saya hubungi lagi untuk tata cara mendapatkan hadiahnya. Oke, pertanyaan yang keempat ya. Pertanyaan yang keempat adalah, saya bacakan dulu. Sebutkan aplikasi BCA yang dapat digunakan untuk transaksi investasi. Oke, Julia. Kita dapat hadiahnya ya. Selamat ya, Julia. Untuk pertanyaan yang keempat, saya screenshot dulu sebentar. Julia, oke. Terakhir ya, pertanyaan yang kelima, siap-siap. Sebutkan 2 tujuan dari berinvestasi. Yo, silakan. 2 tujuan dari berinvestasi. Sudah ada 2 jawaban, tapi belum tepat. Boleh dicoba lagi? Sudah ada 3 jawaban, tapi belum tepat. Oke, saya lihat lagi. Oke, kita sudah dapat pemenangnya ya. Pemenangnya ada pada siapa ini namanya? Tunggu sebentar ya teman-teman. Ini banyak benar yang masuk. Jadi setiap saya scroll, dia selalu naik terus. Oh, ternyata belum ada jawaban yang tepat. Belum ada jawaban yang tepat karena ini masih termasuk satu jawaban. Kita switch ya pertanyaannya. Saya kasih pertanyaan terakhir. Ini mudah, benar atau salah? Benar atau salah, dengan mengurangi hutang dapat meningkatkan investasi. Oke. Terima kasih teman-teman. Untuk pertanyaan kelima, pemenangnya ada di Dinda Marisa. Dinda Marisa boleh direct message saya. Oke, sekian untuk kuis dari saya. Saya kembalikan lagi kepada Ibu Cindy. Dipersilakan.
Thank you, Mrs. Fanny. And now, before we close this event, we will have a photo session together led by Nurdiawan Syah. To all participants, please open the video. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. I will try to take some pictures because we have 6 slides. Please turn on your cam. We have 141 participants. Okay, please turn on your camera. Okay, ready for first slide? Okay, thank you for second slide. Okay, thank you. Third slide. Okay, fourth slide. Hold on. Fifth slide. Wait. Okay, sixth slide. Okay, thank you. Back to Cindy.
Thank you for Mr. Nurdiawan Syah. And thank you for all the material provided by our astonishing speakers. Hopefully, all of us can take the knowledge as much as possible by joining this workshop. I would like to extend our appreciation to each and every one of you for attending this event. See you on the 3rd International Workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Makasih Bapak Ibu, Pak Prof. Iskandar, mohon pamit ya Pak.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya, teman-teman semuanya. Saya izin live.
Terima kasih Ibu.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya atas kesempatannya.
Belum